He's not eating again, really. He's not eating much at all. Mama. Tux likes it. I don't think he likes it. The flavor. Either that or he just wanted some pets. Yeah. Oh. But Simon is not eating. I'm probably going to have to give him some of the fish food in a minute. Just to see if, like, I only gave him a quarter of his dose, or a half of his dose last night for his thyroid medication. There was food left in the bowl this morning, a lot of it. And he's just not eating. He's not eating it now. He's eating very little. I mean, he's eating a little bit, but still playing. This is my chair, Missy. Oh my gosh, you're getting so big. Big. Hopefully he went to go eat now. Sometimes he does that. Once I get settled, he'll go munch down. I mixed in some Fancy Feast with it, and I don't even know if he likes it. It's the one I got on accident. Oh, for sure, the thyroid medication, one of its side effects is loss of appetite from the medication, as well as whenever they have an abundance of the medication in their system, it can also cause them to go hypothyroidic. So they actually have too little thyroid hormone, and then it makes them actually gain weight while at the same time not being very hungry, which he's not doing. He's losing weight while not being hungry. So leads me to believe it might be the kidneys, even though I've been giving him so much water. Dude, why do you have to chew up everything? Not fucking. Right. She done to my. You can't even see it. Back, the whole chair is just fucked up now. It used to be nice looking. No, but it's all scratched up. Guess I put the bowl too close to his. Mama ain't having it. So this is a combination of 100 grams of the Z wheat, because I got to get rid of that shit. I got it. Oh, what is he doing? He's cruising for a bruising now. Hey, Northwest, welcome. Oh my gosh, what is he doing? But it's got 100 grams of the Ziwi rabbit lamb, and then it's got a whole can, 85 grams of the Fancy Feast beef pate original, and it's got about 50 grams of a different Fancy Feast beef that is supposed to be more healthy with gravy, and it's a different texture, and it's got Simon's leftover Royal Canine from last night, and it's got a tablespoon of water and 2 tablespoons of the Hydrocare in it to kind of give it more flavor. More than anything, I was trying to put that in there for more flavor to get them to eat this freaking food that I have $300 something worth of just sitting around. I somehow get the cats to eat it. I can't believe he's letting him hit that second ball out. How did they go on Northwest? Simon did eat a little more, so he's there now, but I guess he's still there. I'll move the camera a little. See a little better. Never mind. He's gonna come in to eat now. Weird. I guess they're just not. That food isn't appealing to them. There we go. There we go. Dude, I drank right to the key line last night. I can't get it flat, but if it goes flat, you'd see it's right at the keys. Oof. Man, this stuff right here was stout. What do you mean I didn't drink that much? Oh, not of this one. I didn't drink too much of this one, but it's 62%. It's almost 63. 62.7. So, plus I started off with the other bottle. So, it was about a quarter of a fifth last night. Yep. What are you meowing at? Oh, Tux is across the street. Sidewalk. Yeah, I think she was. I'm across the street, maybe. Oh my goodness. I hope he's eating his food in there. Looks like she's watching him eat, though. Let's hope he's not below 11 pounds. If once he gets below 11 pounds, I'm going to panic a little bit. She's a stocky little thing. I remember in the beginning, for the first 3 months, her rear end was so skinny. Oh, her whole body was so skinny. It was the worms, I think, and the fleas and everything, and allowing her to. Yeah, she would have definitely died without human intervention. I think Simon would have too, probably. He had worms so bad when I found him. Fleas, of course. Maybe getting big? Do that. He's so talkative, man. Oh, she's always like that. Whimpering and little. She does that all the time. Oh no, that's it. Damn it. She didn't eat. These cats are not appreciating my massive bowls of food, apparently. Some of that. Fuck, man. I have to start putting only 150 grams rather than 300. I bet 300 grams of food split between two bowls, 150 each. Should have been enough for two cats to eat their fill. Well, it looks like over half of the food is still left. When he talks, number two and Fluffy to come by. ASAP. She did trot off all kind of weird, like she had a place to be or something. It's like, oh, she's right here too. She's still stopped at the end of the sidewalk here. Now, oh, there she's leaving. Yo, what's up with these toenails you got? No, I mean, just burped in my hands. Oh, Yep. Might be putting a little too much food down. It's just I have so much of that Ziwi and lamb, I really want to just get rid of it so I don't have to look at it. No, back. Oh my god, I forgot I was supposed to take Simon to the vet tomorrow morning early. Hmm. I need to wash my car today, I think. To do an oil change sometime soon.
It's a pickle lover's dream come true.
Wow.
A pickle food festival. Pickle pizza.
That's good.
Pickled egg roll.
That's good.
A pickle cannoli. Pickle lemonade.
It's actually good.
Nicole here couldn't wait for the annual bash outside Pittsburgh, known as, what else? Picklesburg. But 3 hours after eating all those pickles, things went, well, sour.
What is going on? I cannot see anything. I am having the craziest allergic reaction. I have no idea what happened. My eyes are like swollen shut.
Nicole had to be rushed to the emergency room.
I cannot see. This is bad.
Little did I know that my face was going to swell out to here and I was going to look like an alien.
I spoke to Nicole today. Did they give you an EpiPen or something, or did they give you a shot?
They gave me steroids and they hooked me up to an IV for about 3 hours, just like pumping me with Benadryl and fluids.
What did they tell you?
They could not figure out what it was. They said this could be like a one-time case.
Dr. Tanya Elliott says one possible explanation for Nicole's woes might be a spice allergy.
If I had to place my bet, I would put it on mustard seed.
Nicole did manage a smile as she posed outside the emergency room.
Think you'll ever go back to the Picklesburg Festival?
Yes, I was waiting for that for 3 years. I love pickles.
This thing is bad publicity. Of course, she was smiling. She's a TikTok influencer. And she was like, oh my God, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Look at my face. Guys, what is happening? You know what I mean? I'm finally going to make it as a TikToker. I look like an alien. Republicans are claiming that Biden's trying to start World War III before Trump gets in office. Putin's nuclear war threat on cam as Biden allows Ukraine long-range missile strikes.
Threats that require nuclear deterrence measures to be neutralized.
I don't know. See some more? I hope so.
Now to a major reversal to a long-standing U.S. policy. President Biden removing some limits on how missiles can be used in Ukraine.
Local 10's Annalise Garcia has the very latest from the newsroom. She's live now. Annalise.
Alex, Eric, President Biden is allowing Ukraine to fire long-range missiles on targets inside Russia. It comes after Russia unleashed its third largest attack against Ukraine this year. Russia targeting power plants and energy infrastructure.
Their attack last night. Are you okay? I'm sorry. We under my foot, and I put my foot down on her head, I think. Oh, I really need more. Get back. I had to go back to the drawing board with the food choice here for Simon.
Structure as temperatures start to fall. At least 10 people were killed. For the first time, President Biden allowing Ukraine.
The thing last night, the strike that Russia, it got almost all the way to Slovakia. So pretty much all the way across Ukraine. That's how far Russia is attacking.
To use long-range missiles to strike inside Russia. It's a major reversal in U.S. policy. U.S. officials say a reason for the change, the 10,000 North Korean troops arriving to fight alongside the Russians. In his nightly address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the missiles will speak for themselves.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean the missiles will speak for themselves? You know what the missiles are going to speak? That America is getting too involved into this war, dude. That's what they're going to speak. Fuck, he is trying to start World War III before Trump gets into office. And this motherfucker's letting it happen. He's acting like he's Billy Badass or something. We're the Billy Badass saving his ass. He doesn't need to be fucking coming out saying, yeah, they'll send their message. Like, we're sending the message, not you. Fucking dick. I like how he acts like he's got this deep voice and acts like he's a Billy Badass or something. The dude's a fucking actor. He never went on the battlefield and fought anybody. He's a punk-ass pussy bitch that's putting our country in extreme jeopardy. He's a liability.
ракети самі за себе скажуть. Обов'язково. Слава Україні!
The focus of Ukraine's new capability is expected to be in Russia's Kursk region.
Ukraine,
That's
baby.
where the North Korean troops have joined
Why the
some
fuck do we care
50,000
so much
Russian
about
troops
it?
trying to recapture the land Ukraine seized months ago.
The key point here is that Kursk is Russia. And if incoming President Trump calls for negotiations, the Ukrainians are going to need Kursk as a bargaining chip at the table with Mr. Putin.
The U.S. had already given Ukraine shorter-range missiles, only to be used on Ukrainian territory seized by Russia.
Make Russia great again, damn it.
They're going to regard this as a major escalation.
Fuck it.
But the reality is they're going to have to wait for the next administration, the Trump administration, and see actually where policy truly lies.
Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin speaking hours before the policy change went public.
This war could end today. It could have ended 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago if Putin would have decided to make the right decision and pull his forces out of Ukraine.
You stupid fuck.
And Biden's reversal comes 2
Worst
months before
fucking
he leaves the
Secretary of
White House.
Defense
President-elect
we've ever
Trump
had.
claims he is the only person who can bring both sides together to end the war. I'm live in the newsroom. Annalise Garcia, Local 10 News.
Dude was fucking worthless the whole time he was Secretary of Defense. How did he help us at all? Even get that guy. Oh, I know why he's in office. Because he's black. He was the highest qualified black person that they could find. If they could have put a tranny as Secretary of Defense, they would have. They didn't have anybody qualified enough. Of course, probably the trannies can't pass the security clearance, probably. Half the time. They got some shady shit going on with Antifa in the past or something, probably. Usually. Why wouldn't they? I can't imagine hardly any transgendered people being able to get a security clearance. I mean, hell, you saw what happened with that one that we had that stole luggage from a fucking airport while he was in Biden's administration. And he was not a hard person to fucking spot. Bald, with makeup on, looking like an alien. And you're going to try to steal luggage from an airport? As if everybody's not already staring at you. I smoke so I chill out. No! No! Get down! Stop it! Stop it! Fuck, man. Every time she does it, I tell her no. She's like, oh, maybe this time he'll like it. Well, Tux number 2 seems to like my cooking. Huh. Oh, and he's Fluffy, Crossback, and Trident to come through. We can get all these bowls finished up. Yeah. I did something. I did something productive for the community. Most of these people in my neighborhood probably just think I'm a weird, mentally, mental white dude that's always mad about shit because my walls are paper thin. Maybe a few of them know that I'm doing this. Word's gotten around, and they're like, "Hey, man, he's not so bad after all. He's the he doesn't just sit in his house all day. He actually does help other life forms." He's hungry today. He's a little more skittish though than Tux. He'll let me pet him, but like Tux will just run up to me. I'll stomp my feet right next to Tux, trying to get him away from me. He'll look at me like, "Fuck you, I'm hungry. I want to go inside with you." This cat, if I did that with, it would run off. Yeah, that mama, she might never come back. Hey! What my fingers for? Oh, wait, where'd she go? Go. Man, dude. Cats been run off fast when they get done today. Where is everybody? I'm missing. I guess it's one of the Mondays, right? She probably jumped a wall. Everybody's MIA on Monday. I'm supposed to pull Simon's food up now. Dang it. Oh, he's not eating. Pull it up. You gonna go eat some more, bud? Let me more. Pull it up in a minute. Oh, he knows that's the alarm for me to pull it up. He's gonna go have another bite. I called it. What? Somebody just got a tattoo. Look at this stupid thing. And people are retarded. Trump is not my fucking president. They got that tattooed on their side. What's this? Like a titty under the titty? Or is this their back? Confusing. Fighting under fire for Ukraine escalation. Oh, it was after the squirrel got put down that was tested negative for rabies. Interesting. They put it down first. Why didn't they just quarantine it, man? So weird that they killed that squirrel. Raccoon. Oh, baby girl. Oh, right. Done. Picking it up. Stop it, bro. She tries to get under my foot. She sees I'm trying to keep her out, but she's like, "Oh, I can get under there." So he ate a little bit. I still don't feel like his appetite is strong enough for me to give him diaper medication. Not sure. It took him an hour and a half for me continually scoot into the middle, add another fruit. Like I had to, like he wasn't just eating it like sweet pea. I probably haven't found the right food yet then. That beef liver tiki and see, gobble that up. Stop doing that. Stop, go away. No. Stop it. Fuck. Tired of that shit. Every time she wants attention, comes and scratches on the chair. I need her to get out of that fucking. Like, eventually, one day, she's gonna be let out of this room. I don't want her scratching every chair I'm sitting at. For the next 14 years. Dude, there was a post on the Long Beach subreddit this morning. This lady tried to take what seems to be a stray cat to the shelter here. They turned her away. That's how bad it is right now. They said, oh, you can just go and release it to your neighborhood, is what they said to her. I guess because it wasn't sick. Maybe if it was sick, they would have taken it in, but then they would have probably euthanized it. How bad it is right now out here, and it's going to get worse. Mating season is coming up. Why do they love having babies when it's freezing cold outside? I don't get it. Not looking forward to that possibly happening either. Maybe the shelter's not even putting them down. They're like, nope, not taking them. Take it back. Take your sick cat back to the streets. Stop. Stop. Oh man. Crazy.
A reminder to always check the label before using a product. This lady has a problem because in her rush to put in eye drops, she grabbed her nail glue instead.
This mom is in the emergency room with her right eye glued shut.
Instead of grabbing the eye drops, I grabbed the Kiss nail glue.
You heard right. Branch Shipley mistook this bottle of nail glue for eye drops.
Time to take my antibiotic eye drops. I reached over to my nightstand.
Well, it's good now, though.
To grab them where I
Lost
thought they were.
all her hair.
And I ended up grabbing nail glue instead.
What did it feel like?
All her lashes.
It was just burning on fire. I screamed bloody murder.
Fuck.
The bottle of nail glue is really small, almost the same size as a bottle of eye drops.
Oh my God.
So you can see how easy it is to mix them up. In Brienne's case, she says she was awakened by her alarm, reminding her to take her eye drops for an infection. And they were right next to each other on your nightstand?
Yeah, just, lazily throw it on my nightstand.
She says doctors had to use Vaseline to open her eye. Then they put a tube in her eye to flush the glue out with saline. What did you learn from all this?
That works?
To keep your medicine organized and always check, maybe triple check your medicine before you take it.
Don't put glue in your eye. Good
Dude,
advice.
that's amazing.
Brienne's doctor says there was no permanent damage to her
Wow,
eye.
that's so crazy. That's the craziest part of it, that they were able to get her fucking eye open. Just imagine if that shit would have happened just like 500 years ago. You'd have put some glue shit in her eye like that, and then like what? I doubt she would have been blind for life. Possibly even it would have caused a severe infection to where it killed her. It's so close to her brain. But nowadays, they're able to do some pretty amazing stuff. Don't do that. Stop it. You gotta learn to stop clawing everything. Yeah. Don't do that. See? That fucking didn't feel good, did it? Yeah. I just smacked her paw while she was doing it. While her paw was clawed into the chair, I smacked the top of it. I don't know how else to get her to stop doing that. Listening else. So cute. It's cute that she does it even, but Bad habit. She needs to learn what the things are that are allowed to be scratched on. She hasn't learned that yet. Like, she'll scratch next to the scratching pad that Simon uses. Mad at me now? You're a good girl. Carol Turnip isn't cute, yeah. Yeah, that's why, one of the reasons why she stayed in here. I just don't know if I can trust her going out there, and I definitely can. My couch out there would be ruined. It stayed pretty good over the years. It's like, I don't know, it's worth a decent amount of money, especially since it's pretty much brand new still. I don't ever use it. Back in the back room, it's coated in fucking cat litter dust, but I can get that cleaned up. Get it spruced up. I think it cost me like $1,200 when I got it back in 2015 or so. Yeah, 2015. So it's probably worth like $1,800 now with inflation. It's huge though. Sectional. I could probably get $1,000 for it if I like didn't live in a fucking apartment where I can't put it together. I mean, I don't live in an apartment, but it's the size of an apartment pretty much. Like, I actually lived in an apartment before this that I had that couch in, that I had it fully together. So my apartment was bigger than this. That's why I kind of view this. The only difference between this and an apartment is I have a front yard, a backyard that I have to maintain. I got this side yard that you're looking at here that I got to maintain and sweep up every now and then and water the plants and shit. Didn't have to deal with that shit at an apartment. It was kind of sweet. And the backyard is pretty insignificant due to the fact that, I mean, it's really only used for my trash bins because the proximity of the apartment building to me is like, if I were to grill or something, I would be like wafting smoke up into their bedroom window or something, possibly. Wafting lighter fluid fumes and shit up into their spot. I wouldn't feel right doing that, so I don't have a little grill out back or anything to do something with. If I put one out front here, the same fumes would waft into my neighbor's place from the awning. I can't really take advantage of having the front yard by having a little grill out there. It's sweet to grill something every now and then. Knock it the fuck off, dude. Hey, stop. Get down. Stop playing with shit, not toys. It's really that simple. Just stop playing with shit. It's not a toy. I don't know if the spay helped her or not. Oh, and all this fruit, dude. I gotta deal with this fucking fruit that I don't want. It has made such a mess on the sidewalk in front of my place. It looks like I need to get out there with a broom and a water hose and get all the crap off the sidewalk, because it's right up. It's looking. My neighbors have somehow stayed ahead of it with theirs. I think they go outside more though and pick it up and move it. I don't. But I did take a lot of them out of the tree preemptively. While they're still green even. But mine's still the messiest patch of sidewalk in the block. And there are 3 guava trees on, like, bop, bop, and bop. Guava trees like crazy right here. Stop, man, come on. He attacked the pipe in my hand. He's not getting calmer with age yet, that's for sure. Though it's sun faded, but they're still up. There's 2 of them. They're both sun faded and like flapping in the wind because it was such a big windstorm. They haven't taken the time to redo them, but yes, the signs are still there. You can't really read them anymore though because they got wet and sun faded. So they're still up there. Something else that's still up is their Halloween lights. I guess they're going to keep them up until Christmas. They actually put up a Halloween decoration. I don't do shit like that. I don't feel the need to put up a fake facade acting like I'm a happy family or something. I think a lot of families do that are in dysfunctional relationships. They put a facade on the outside of their house, make the world think everything's okay. Dude, there have been times when I thought those 2 were going to kill each other. I was questioning whether or not I should call the authorities because I didn't want to have to be in a case where I was talking about how many shots I heard and what I heard before that and that kind of shit, you know? I was like, I don't want to do that, so do I get them some help now? Here's the thing they don't understand, actually, probably. They have been I could have easily gotten domestic violence charges put on them. I could have done it easily, multiple times. Because of the stuff that they've said to each other has sometimes been a terroristic threat, and that acting like someone was going to get stabbed or something. That in itself is domestic violence. Well, if I would have recorded what they were saying when they were saying that type of shit, and when they got violent and you could hear that they were getting violent with one another, that is the next level, actually, of domestic violence offense. At least a misdemeanor. Depending on what's said, though, could bump it to a felony. That terroristic threat of acting like you're going to actually murder the other person could bump it up to a felony, depending on if they've had any prior convictions. Terroristic threat's a very serious charge. That's why when that dude said it to me on the live stream, I was like, whoa. He just did that? Does he know what he just did? Because I knew somebody that was locked up for it when I was in LA County. He said some shit like that to his girlfriend, and he was in there telling me about it. How crazy it was, what he was looking at as far as prison time, possibly. It wasn't his first rodeo being in there. It doesn't have to be a second time for that either. Just if you have any priors, especially if they're violent, they put you in prison for a couple of years and try to make you less violent. It's the reason. That's why our judicial system is so wild. Really. Like, really, that person should be put in mandatory anger management classes, probation, long-term probation, 5 years, and supervised long-term probation at that for 5 years. This is my judgment on them, unless they have some really serious violent crime in the past. But if they just seem to have anger issues, they need anger management. Does anger management work? It does if it's maintained. Like, you use it if you lose it. Not completely. Like, you can remember simple things like when, so for instance, one example is getting mad in traffic. You got to remember that that person isn't making me angry. I'm allowing them to have control over my emotions, and in doing that, I'm allowing myself to be a weak-minded. Like, I have to remind, like, but it's in the heat of a moment to remind yourself of these things. That's the hard part, and we're getting out of practice with doing it. The longer you're out of practice after the anger management classes, the easier it is to fly off the handle. I don't know what's in. Marijuana helps me a lot with it, though. That and, oh, well, that and the Xanax. And alcohol helps with it. Somewhat. Unless I'm playing PUBG. But they're retired. It's hard to deal with stupid. When I feel like I'm wasting my time when I'm with them. That's the thing, I guess. I'll spend 20 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever, even 5. I go through the lobby time and shit, and then I realize that I'm with the dumbass team. There's something about that just pisses me off. I'll still do shit like just yesterday, I believe it was, or the day before, I flipped some dude off in traffic because they were behind me, and I made a left turn, they made a left turn, and I got in the far right lane to make a right down the street, not at the next main intersection. Actually, at the next street that you can take a right on. So, and then they made it a point to zoom around me and then cut in front of me. I'm like, what? Like, really? They might not use their blinker either, like that one too. That will add a little cherry on top to it. Be like, what are you doing? And then I might flip them off. But I'm not like yelling out the window like, hey, fuck you, asshole. I'll probably laugh about it first. Like, yo, what are you fucking doing, man? Come on. Hey, fuck you, dude. You know, like, but I'm not making a scene with it. I think the weed helps a lot with that, dude. Oh, and then another one happened on the way back. I think, stop it. On the way back, there was a high-end Mercedes that cut in front of me after the traffic circle, and it was it didn't use a blinker, and there was only enough space for it to get in between, pretty much, you know. And it just like went across the lanes to the third lane. I didn't even do anything with that. I just thought to myself, like, what a fucking jackass. Fuck you. I think it's the weed. The weed helps me more than anything with not flipping out about shit like that. Like, I probably calm down a lot from the weed. But also, I've been through anger management classes at the VA. I got those approved. I had to do them for my well, it might have been a felony case. I can't remember. I think that was a felony case for the that's why my lawyer cost so fucking much at $5,000. He was a well-known lawyer though. But I had to go to anger management classes and I had to be on supervised probation for a year. I think it was a year. And or maybe it was 2 and I got off early. I can't remember. But it might have been. But I got the judge to approve me to do the one that the VA had. So that way I was able to do it for free. So that was cool. And then I got to go have anger management classes for like, I don't know if it's twice a week or what, up at the VA. And it made it cooler doing it with other veterans too. It wasn't just some fucking people off the street. And the reason being, well, for one, we've all been through boot camp, so we all have camaraderie. I feel a little, I don't know, a little better sharing my, what's going on personally with other veterans. But there was something else though that, sorry, a fucking special needs short bus just showed up in front of my house. It threw me off. Cost a few hundred? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what it cost, but I forget what else there was that was cool about it. Oh, I know now. You go to an anger management group, which is what it was on the outs, in the civilian world, not at the VA, and everybody there, 90% of them are going to be court ordered, right? Same as when they were trying to get me to do Caltrans, 100% of those people are court ordered unless they were employees of the, this is a different case, but unless they're employees of Caltrans, they were one of us, a convict. So I convinced them those 2 times I was able to do my community service Caltrans at the VA, so I was surrounded by people that were mostly there to do actual volunteer work. Like I think the only person that was court ordered, and I can't remember if they knew it or not. Some of them might have known it and some not. I can't remember. The people that let me do it definitely knew it. I had to get approved by the VA, showed them my case and the letter from the judge and everything, and yeah, anyway, so with the anger management, like I think I also had to get them to approve me to come to them. I can't remember, but the judge approved it and everything, and it allowed me to be in an environment where it wasn't a bunch of people that were being made to be there. Therefore, I think the group therapy was better. They were less likely to hold back since they're coming there out of their own will, their own free will. They weren't being made to. I feel I have a better, and the judge probably thought about that too. Like he'll have a better group, like it'll be a better class with surrounded with people that aren't being made to be there. And maybe even the judge thought that somewhat with me, because not everybody has the ability maybe to take their felony cases to the VA and to community service and shit. Unless they are a veteran in the VA, because I was, like I said, I wasn't surrounded by other convicts at the VA doing escorting, pushing other veterans. They trusted us with a lot. I pushed the man that they named our hospital out of, or they changed the name of the VA here to the Tiber Rubin VA Medical Center. I pushed him when he lived there, dude. Like, I could have accidentally hurt that dude. They don't want just any fucking body charged with a felony pushing around our veterans, you know? Like, they could snap. I was in there for something violent, actually, so they had to get me vetted to make sure that I wasn't gonna snap. I had to pretty much get like a clearance, you know. I got the clearance, buddy, and no one got hurt. I didn't ever get in a fight with anybody there. My buddy, my buddy, and me. I didn't give him his thyroid medication today, though. And watch his respiration. Simon's not doing so well. There's one hit left in here. Yep. Most of it, yeah, because I put that extra in it, so he actually finished a very decent amount. Because I put that fancy feast in there. I just hope that fancy feast doesn't give him diarrhea. Oh, not giving him his thyroid medication though, any of it. It's hard to tell his respiration when he's purring, because that's always going to be faster. Right now it looks like it's around 40, 45. Let me see how close I am just by looking at it that fast. So I'm getting an eye for it. He's moving. I start over. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So 50 actually, but he's not asleep, but that's still pretty high. He's purring though, like I said. Coat still looks good. I haven't weighed him. I should have weighed him this morning. Like these cats outside aren't gonna eat anymore unless I go out there and unless Fluffy shows up. Some Hawaiian woman's missing in LA somewhere. Hear about that? Dad makes bad decision at lunch.
All right, how are you? Good. So, he's over here, turquoise shirt, back to his third table up. I was in the office. Apparently, the staff, we came in like this. We haven't served him anything. He started throwing chips at the kid, and he's been like passing in and out. He just went to get up and like almost fell over to take his son to the bathroom. And I walked over. I said, "I'll get your son." He looked at me like, "You don't know me from Adam, right?" And just let me take his son. And my manager's in the bathroom right now. She's with his son.
What? I'm confused. I was just thinking right now, you know who's keeping businesses like this open? It's people that can expense their food for lunch at work. Workers that are either on the road or that are, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like they've been sent to Cynthiana, Kentucky from Memphis to go install a pipe conveyor system. They're staying up in a hotel and they're getting paid a per diem per day to stay in the hotel or whatever, but they're getting to turn in their receipts for the food that they buy. Some shit like that, you know what I mean? They're keeping restaurants open. It's what these guys reminded me of. I used to, like, that was one of the trips that I went on. That was one of our stops was Cynthiana, Kentucky, and we did pipe conveyor system. But others, like people doing fracking, going on long haul fracking jobs. All those workers, truckers, travelers, people traveling. But I think, what do you guys think? People that, like, people used to go out more that are just in town, not on a special occasion, not because they're working. Like, honey, you want to go out to have dinner tonight instead of eating in the house? I don't think that's happening near as much. Costs too much, and people are getting fucking food poisoning left and right. It's either it's happening more, or we're hearing about it more. Either case, it's in our face more, and we're like, whoa, people are getting sick out here. Costco's recalling all kinds of vegetables and shit. Even you stay out once a week. There you go. Yeah. Oh no! I'll pet you. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Partner. Yeah, he's right here. He's coming in. Don't worry.
He's not leaving me.
What's going on, man?
He's drunk.
What's going on?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right. So, what are you guys doing today?
Going home.
Going home? How are you getting there?
I'm gonna have somebody driving.
Okay. Where are they at?
They're not here.
Well, I know that.
I can get them.
Okay. So,
is that okay?
Well, yeah, there was just cause concern for your son because you're clearly intoxicated. Yeah. They were concerned about your son. That's why they called us here.
Yeah, where's he at?
The manager has him in the bathroom. Because they said when you got up to try to take him to the bathroom, you almost fell over. So, the manager said she'd take it for you.
Okay. Can you please bring him back?
What's that?
Can you please
bring him back? Who's coming to get you?
Nobody's coming to get me. I would actually like a ride home.
From who?
I will call an Uber, I guess.
I mean, that's
probably the best bet, right?
Yeah, that's the best bet. How did you get here?
By my truck.
So where did you drink at? Because they said they didn't serve you.
I drank here.
Okay.
I drank here. From what I remember.
From what you remember?
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
A couple hours at the most.
Okay. Been out Christmas shopping, or you just come out to get something to eat?
Dude, it's 2 days before Christmas.
Shopping, so yes.
Okay.
Damn, Merry Christmas, homie.
Oh, yeah.
owner just went to go check on him.
Yeah, all good, man. I apologize. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Sometimes, you know what I mean, you drink a little bit too much and...
Is that a good donut?
Yeah.
Yeah? Where's mommy? People were just concerned for your son's safety.
I agree.
So
200%.
Are you a single parent?
No, sir.
Where's your wife or girlfriend?
She's at home.
Did she come pick you guys up?
No, she lives all the way over in Daytona.
Okay, that's not very far.
Yeah, but no.
Because I think that's probably the best thing for the welfare of your son. Have him call the mom. Yeah. So let's call your wife, girlfriend, whoever she is, so she can come pick up you and her child.
She's not gonna drive all the way out here.
Yeah, she will. She will.
No, she won't.
Okay. Give me her phone number.
That's not any of your business, no offense.
Okay, so it is my business because I'm trying to get your son to a safe spot, and right now he's not.
Okay, and I'm telling you right now, if you take me to a safe spot,
okay,
I have my son.
Okay, we're not a taxi. One, you're extremely intoxicated. Okay, you're not in a position to take care of your son at this point. So I need to get your son with somebody who can take care of him. Your phone's over there. Is that your phone right there?
He always texts me, but I don't remember.
He's always screaming.
Yeah. That's good job.
We know, Chuck. You got it. Make sure it happens again, right?
What's the name of this restaurant?
La Fiesta.
La Fiesta. Hold on. Don't hang up. You gotta talk to this guy.
Can I get an itemized list of his bill? Sure.
Hasn't paid yet either.
You said he had my child. Where's he at?
He's safe right now.
That's not the question. Where's
That's
my child?
answer. Is he safe right now?
Okay.
Don't get up. Don't get up.
No, don't
get up.
touch me.
Do not get up. Do not get up. Come on. You're going to jail. Just put your hands on him.
Where is my son?
Oh, right now he's safe.
Give me a hard time when I'm trying to find my son.
Well, because you think you're concerned with your son, but you're actually highly intoxicated in public with your son, which is not a safe spot for him to be. So before you put your hands on me, you need to take a hard look in the mirror for a second. Okay?
Understood.
We're going outside. Thank you. Should probably talk some sense into your boyfriend before he puts hands on an officer. Well, you guys with him?
His wife and I'm his mother. Where's my kid? Where's our son?
Let me get him for you.
Yeah, we've got this.
I'm gonna pull your pants up just so I don't.
Fucking idiot! All he had to do is just sit there.
You can, yeah,
much, maybe. I don't know. They might have still arrested him. I'm not sure.
Best I can. They're not.
I honestly apologize. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful.
Well, you put your hands on an officer. That's a big no-no.
I know. I'm asking you with the bottom of my heart, because this is going to cause me a lot of things. I'm asking you
I'm listening.
From the bottom of my heart, can I please just be okay and go home?
I mean, you blew that chance as soon as you touched my officer. Hey, buddy. Come on, mommy's here.
What's my squeaky duck?
Your squeaky duck?
I've been sober for like, I don't know, 26 days. So
you decide to just put that down during today?
I made a bad decision, sir. Sir, I apologize for being disrespectful, honestly. I'm trying to get my life back together. I actually just got out of 38 days rehabilitation, and this is not going to help me. And I'm asking you, sir, please, I'm not that guy. I'm asking you, please, to just let me be.
She can take all of his stuff.
They're not together.
My phone, that's not the roots or something like that.
They're not together. Interesting.
Watch your head.
Is that what she said?
Mark.
Have a seat. I mean, I didn't get into details.
I know we're in the process of a divorce.
Yeah, I didn't get into details with her.
Well, that means he's gonna be paying child support. Don't want to do that shit. Oh, what the fuck?
Did I tell you any other report?
Dude, this says woman caught using deployed sailor's identity and rental scam. It's only 12 minutes long.
So the lady behind me supposedly is trying to get a new apartment here using the victim's name, who is overseas in the military right now.
No way.
I believe you spoke with the other officer about
her
filling out some paperwork.
Yep. So that's going to be right here. Here's her money orders. She was supposed to move in yesterday, and then I guess pushed up because she figured management wouldn't be here today and whatnot. But is she going to be taken?
More than likely, yes. There's a separate officer in charge here, but yeah.
So what's going on today?
Hold up. This woman tried to pretend that she's in the Navy like that? I hope so.
My friend needed, I don't know what's going on really. I'm just doing her dirty work, coming in and getting some keys for her.
Who's your friend?
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
Fridell.
What do you mean you're doing her dirty work? What does that mean?
She just asked me, can I come get some keys for her? I told her no problem. Put my face on, to come do it for her. I didn't think it was an issue, but yeah, it is.
Okay. Are you saying this Alyssa person is the one who put you up to this? Is that what you're trying to say?
I can't even, my kid's involved, and he didn't know, what's going on. And this U-Haul right here, this isn't mine. This is my brother's U-Haul. I used his U-Haul because I was with him in his car, but he went to his new job today at Burger King this morning. But he left, and I wanted to, come grab the keys from his friend, so I just took his U-Haul and grabbed my son, who was supposed to be dropping him off to Jamestown.
When she just came out, she tells her son, whoever, it's like, you'll be okay. You don't know what's going on, but you'll be fine. I'll tell you later or something.
Yes.
So.
I heard that's kind of the way a lot of these financial ones go, because they're not aggressive criminals mostly.
They're just doing it to get a place because they can't afford it.
Did you submit an application?
She did.
She did?
Well, no, any other information. I just went, just.
Okay, is there a reason why there's a Georgia ID with your face on it that was submitted to?
Actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. She asked me, can I send her a picture of me? So I'm thinking, she know my name, Soraya. So when she said picture, I'm like, okay, well, maybe they just need it. That's when she gave me the driver's license with my face. And I said, wait, how my face got on? Who is this? And I asked her, I said, how my face get on the ID? And she said, what did she tell me? She was like, don't worry about it, you good, you in good hands. I said, yeah, but who is this? Like, who is the actual? I said, and I told her, I was scared, and she was like, there ain't nothing to be scared about. And I said, well, I ain't want to, but I seen she had a boyfriend with her, and I know her boyfriend do the most. She's scared, I'm scared, I've always been for years. So I just was like, well, he was standing right there, so I didn't want to do it, and I told her, I said I didn't feel comfortable, and she was just like, babe, all you got to do is just go pick up the keys. I said, yeah, but who is this that I gotta be that you put, why you put my picture on the ID? And that's when she was like, they just do it, you in good hands and stuff. So I was like, all right.
So there's an officer in charge here, you're speaking with your mom. That's mom, right? That's your mom, right? Yeah. So they're speaking with her now. They'll kind of explain everything that's going on. I'm guessing you're kind of unaware. Again, you're not in HR, man. I'm just kind of trying to figure out where your mind's at.
I had gave her my number, told her to call me. She did call me, but she told me she was in the process of trying to find somewhere to stay. Just, her whole little background. Trying to fit me in, Alyssa.
Oh, how do you spell it?
Alissa.
Does she have a middle name? Do you know? What's her last name?
I think if it's not Free Men, it may be Free Bull. I'm not so sure.
Do you know her birthday?
Okay. I thought maybe October. Don't make me lie, I don't remember. I know it's October. She was always like 2-3 years older than me. I'll be 34. Wait a minute. I think she's about to be 36.
Do you have like an estimate for the day when she was born?
I don't. I won't. Lord Jesus, forgive me. God knows I won't. I met her through somebody. She was cool years ago. Met her through somebody. She was cool. Hung out a couple of times with her. Didn't see her. Hey, can you still needed to go to.
How you doing?
How you doing? What's going on?
Good.
You need. I'm gonna tell you. I had met with my friend Alyssa yesterday, and more of the story. I'm putting in because I'm telling my business. But here we go.
Just come to the trunk of the car. Is the car coming?
You can
look right here. Just so you stop going back. And shaded over here too.
I did some stupid shit, but I didn't know what it was exact from the more of the story. One of the homegirls. You might be too old right now to remember her. More of the story, she called me, she hit me up, got in contact with me, said she needed to move in. She was in the process of moving, whatever. More of the story, she was getting ready to move in. She said, if I need you, are you able to go pick up some keys? And so I'm like, yeah, what I got to do. And she was like, nothing, I'll let you know, I'm just waiting to see if I'm approved or not, whatever the case is. My auntie was going to help me get the place or some shit, she said. So, more of the story, I didn't hear from her no more up until yesterday. And she just
know how that's used.
I spoke with her on February, but right before that, about 2 days before, 2 days ago, more of the story, she asked me to send her a picture of me, and I was like, okay.
She's definitely not using moral of the story right? She uses it a lot. Everything's moral of the story.
You can't go on my Facebook, and get a picture. She was like, no, send me a picture of you. I need it real quick. So I'm thinking, what the hell? She was like, these apartments so crazy. They be wanting 3 times the rent. They want you to do the most or whatever. I told them that somebody else was going to pick up my keys. Can you send me a picture? So I was like, yeah, I'll see a picture of me. And I sent it to her and I said, can you see me good? And she was like, oh yeah, that's all I had needed for you. I was like, okay. I said, well, did you get approved for the apartment? She was like, I think I did, but I still got to speak to the office, more of the story. That was it. More of the story.
Drink up. Those 2 moral stories. Drink up.
I try to encourage y'all, motivate y'all to do what's best, but
2 shots.
Hear me out. More of the story.
I
met with my friend yesterday when I met with her. So the whole time when she asked me for the picture 2 days prior of yesterday. When I seen her yesterday and met with her, she had a boyfriend with her. She gave me an ID. When she gave me the ID, my face was on the ID. And she was like, you just gotta pick up keys. So I was like, pick up the keys. They couldn't just let me pick up the keys. She was like, no, you just be her, go in there and get the keys. So at that point, that's when I became guilty of anything that had transpired today.
What are you guilty of specifically? I'm kind of lost.
She gave me, it's not my ID, I'm from Florida,
So it's a fake ID?
Yeah, hell yeah, that ain't me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not her. I don't even know. I have no information on the person. I don't know the person. No, nothing. More of the story. I knew right then and there. That's when I agreed to take it from her and said, okay, I'll go, pick it up. She gave me 2 money orders and what she say? I got to be there by 10 o'clock.
So
to pick up the keys.
So you did do paperwork in the leasing office?
I just signed the name.
And then did you give them an ID when you didn't give them?
Any bags for it?
No.
So it seems like we're all on the same page here. Identity theft is a serious crime that has major ramifications to it.
I know. I do know.
Right? Being in possession of a fake ID is illegal.
Correct. And that's why I said I had to
appreciate your honesty here, but
and I knew I When I seen it yesterday and took it from her, so I have to take full responsibility of that.
Well, you are under arrest today, so that they can find you back.
Can I, before I have my food stamp card for my children, I got a few stuff in my purse.
You saying you want them to have it?
Yeah.
You'll be able to bring your purse.
No, I want to be able to give them.
Oh, give them?
So, yes. Because I still got my kids and stuff to feed at grandma's house. I need you to.
You want them to have something in your purse? Yeah. Let me see.
Okay, go. Thank you.
You need my number?
Can you give him?
Get you in the car, we'll get you in.
I got something else in there to give him.
This one, come to the car.
I got King's stuff with me. Can you get it from him? Can you give him? I got King.
Go into the car, and if you need something else, we'll talk to you.
I got King papers and keys. Okay.
This officer, she's just going to search you again?
Okay, can you tell them what jail I'm going to?
Yeah, we'll get them all in.
Okay.
She's just going to search you first. And then we'll get you in jail. Have the AC.
No.
You?
Can I give them a number at my phone?
Do you have anything in you?
Oh, in me? Yeah. Oh, I wasn't listening. I'm so sorry. No, I'm sorry.
It does. Oh, hold on.
Do you have anything in you?
Can I give them a number at my phone? Yes.
Never asked me that. I don't remember ever being asked that when I was getting arrested. Sir, do you have anything inside of you?
Let me go get your phone for you.
Better tell me now. I hear something buzzing.
See you guys.
Ever.
You got one of those remote doohickeys?
I do something wrong with my grandma King. And I knew last night when I met with her and I seen that it was like that. Yeah. I always trying to be nice and do stuff.
Fuck you, bitch. Man, I had somebody steal my identity once. It was a pain in the ass to deal with. Dude, I always hurt over here on the left side. Hopefully it's not some lung thing going on, man. Hey, sweetie. Oh, okay. She heard me stretching. She needed to make sure I was okay. Okay, baby. Spirit Airlines files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We are taking you out to some breaking news as Spirit Airlines has filed for bankruptcy as their debt payments are continuing to loom. They said that this morning they have filed for bankruptcy protection and will attempt to reboot as they struggle to recover from the pandemic caused swoon in travel and a failed attempt to sell the airline to JetBlue. Spirit is the biggest U.S. budget airline. It's lost more than $2.5 billion since the start of 2020. It faces looming debt payments totaling more than $1 billion over the next year. Spirit said it expects to operate as normal as it works its way through a prearranged Chapter 11 bankruptcy process. They also say that customers can continue to book and fly without interruption. All tickets, credits, and loyalty points will remain valid, and affiliated credit cards as well, and other membership perks. Shares of Spirit Airlines, which is based in Miramar, Florida, they dropped by 25% on Friday after the Wall Street Journal reported that the airline was discussing terms of a possible bankruptcy filing with its bondholders. It was just the latest in a series of blows that have sent the stock crashing, down by 97% since late 2018. That's when Spirit was still being profitable. Again, if you are just joining us here on Live Now from Fox, did want to share this breaking news with you that Spirit Airlines has filed for bankruptcy as financial losses are piling up for them and debt payments are still looming. Again, they announced this morning. They're going to try and reboot as they still trying to recover from the pandemic and a failed attempt to sell the airline to JetBlue. Of course, as we learn more on this, we'll bring it to you here on Live Now from Fox. But what you need to know if you are a customer of Spirit is that you can continue to book and fly without interruption. And again, all those tickets, credits, and loyalty points are remaining valid, as are the affiliated credit cards and other membership perks.
Hey, I'm not moving my leg. Stop it. Biting me. Oh, stop it. He's biting me. I should have moved my leg. There.
한영복이 울리는 가운데 김정은 동지께서 추석간에 나오시자 강대한 우리 국가의 위대한 수호자 백전백승의 강철의 용장을 우러러 김정은 동지께서는 당과 혁명, 조국과 사회주의라는 크나큰 세계에 살며 병사들을 이끌고 남 모르는 대대장, 대대총치 지도원들의 순결무구하고 열렬한 애국 충성에 대하여 평가하시면서 자기 대대를 그 어떤 명령 집행에도 철저하고 영영하며 완벽한 종예의 전투 역량으로 만들기 위한 과감한 투쟁으로서 우리 당의 크나큰 힘이 되어주고 의지가 되어주고 있는 대대장을 위하여 위대한 우리 국가의 무궁 강대함을 위하여 위대한 우리 인민의 충만과 행복을 위하여
face of alleged U.S. threats.
비상한 각오와 전투적 열광으로 총천했습니다. 김정은 동지께서는
Make Korea, North Korea great again. That's what they're all thinking. Pentagon fails 7th audit in a row, unable to account for nearly $830 billion.
Joined me on Sunday Morning Futures yesterday talking about his father's cabinet picks. Watch this. Matt Gaetz has certainly sparked lots of conversation, as has Pete Hegseth and RFK Jr. Do you expect Matt Gaetz to face pushback?
Start the oatmeal, dudes.
I think a lot of them are going to face pushback for the same reasons. Again, they are going to be actual disruptors. That's what the American people want, but Washington, D.C. doesn't want that. So there's going to be pushback. There's going to be a lot of money spent. It will all be artificial, but that doesn't mean we won't have to deal with it because that's how Washington, D.C. works.
And joining me now is South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace, a member of the House Oversight, Armed Services, and Veterans Affairs Committees. Congresswoman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here this morning. What do you make of these picks? Do you think Matt Gaetz gets confirmed?
Well, I think that I support all of Donald Trump's picks, including Matt Gaetz. This is a disruptor, just like some of the other picks that Trump is looking at. I think that the public scrutiny, he'll be able to answer questions when there is a Senate confirmation. But this was a mandate by the American people. He won the majority of the popular vote. He won all 7 swing states. And we're seeing people celebrate still today, 2 weeks later, his victory.
Yeah, well, for sure. I guess the confirmation hearings will begin early January, and then we will, of course, see them take place throughout the inauguration, January 20th. The Pentagon, meanwhile, failing its 7th audit in a row, Congresswoman. They're unable to account for nearly $830 billion budget. I mean, let me just say that again. They are unable to account for an $830 billion budget. This is insanity. The Undersecretary of Defense Comptroller claims that the department is making progress toward a clean audit in 2028. I want to get your take on what the heck is going on at the Pentagon as we first hear from co-leader of the incoming Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, Vivek Ramaswamy, joined me yesterday. Watch. You expecting to close down entire agencies like President Trump has talked about the Department of Education, for example. Are you going to be closing down departments?
We expect mass reductions. We expect certain agencies to be deleted outright. We expect mass reductions in force in areas of the federal government that are bloated. We expect massive cuts among federal contractors and others who are overbilling the federal government. So, yes, we expect all of the above. And I think people will be surprised by, I think, how quickly we're able to move with some of those changes, given the legal backdrop the Supreme Court has given us.
So, Congressman, I want you to take on these two issues. First of all, the Pentagon and these failed audits. Where's the $830 billion?
Right. Well, the Pentagon has never actually passed an audit. Can you imagine the average American when the IRS comes in and they fail audit after audit? They'd face massive fines or charges from the IRS, and they need to be accounted for every single dollar, every penny.
And do you think that's going to change? I mean, Pete Hegseth coming into the Department of Defense could obviously represent real change here, but what's the problem? Why can't they pass an audit?
The problem is no one's ever held accountable. No one's ever fired when they can't find the money or when there's massive fraud or waste. These bureaucrats have been running the country for decades, and it's not working. And so Donald Trump, I see, he's not a threat to democracy. He is absolutely a threat to the bureaucracy that's been in D.C. for decades, and this can't come fast enough. This should be a use it or lose it type of theme when the new administration and these disruptors come in. There's so much that we can change and be far more efficient. We shouldn't be spending millions of dollars in Russia, for example, to train cats on treadmills. That's the kind of thing your U.S. tax dollars has been paying for, including puppy parts and wet markets in China. We don't need to be doing that. There's so much waste across the board.
It's unbelievable. But I mean, look, I'm sorry, but you and your college are the stewards of this, right? You're supposed to be representing the people. So what? It's gone off the rails if we've got all of this money that's being appropriated and it's actually nonsense.
I agree with you, Maria, which is why I always vote against these spending bills, the massive omnibuses and continuing resolutions that continue the drunken spending for years. I voted against every single measure because I'm not going to go along to play along. I don't have friends in Washington. I'm not there to make friends. I'm there to work for the American people.
Okay, well, we're going to be watching your work because something's got to give here. We can't keep saying, well, we can't find the money. Oh, we wasted more money. It's outrageous. And the good news is that the American people are now onto it. Meanwhile, President Biden authorized Ukraine to use U.S.-provided long-range weapons to strike deep inside of Russia. It's the first time that this has happened, just weeks before President-elect Trump returns to the White House, so now he's actually moving. The Kremlin responding this morning saying this would escalate the war. Donald Trump Jr. posted this on X, saying this: the military-industrial complex seems to want to make sure they get World War III going before my father has a chance to create peace and save lives. Congresswoman, your reaction?
Well, I am deeply concerned about Trump's ability to defuse the situation with his inauguration just weeks away here. The policy change just in the last few weeks of the year is concerning, but obviously we also want Ukraine to win, and there has to be a balance here. We'll see what the next few weeks, what happens in the next few weeks with this new policy.
But do you agree what Don Jr. is saying? That it's basically, look at all of this, like the fire is escalating. Trump is inheriting a Mideast on fire.
Yes, Trump is inheriting many conflicts overseas, to include Hamas vis-a-vis Israel, the Houthis, Hezbollah. Trump has said that he wants peace in Ukraine and wants to negotiate that peace deal. And what this will do is escalate, I do believe, over the next few weeks, escalate tensions overseas. No one wants World War III. We all want peace. This stuff has to end. But also the policy of Biden changing this at the last minute is deeply concerning for me. And I have questions as we go into the next couple of weeks on House Armed Services. I have a lot of questions on what's happening overseas and how our U.S. military assets are going to be utilized right in the days before Trump is sworn into office.
What do you believe to be the priority of the 119th Congress?
Well, I hope that the priority of the 119th Congress is putting the American people first. That is inflation and spending, illegal immigration and border security, but also women's issues. I represent a district where I won 4 years ago by 1 point. I overwhelmingly won this year by 17 points because I've been talking about and legislating on the issues that the majority of voters care about in my swing district, and that should be the priority of the next Congress. We'll see if we can deliver. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of tough decisions, and people needing to have the backbone to make really tough decisions and tough votes to do right by the American people and put them first and put Donald Trump's agenda first. That's what this is about. It was a mandate.
Do you expect his nominees to pass muster with the Senate?
I don't, actually, and this is what, I'm deeply concerned about his disruptors being able to get confirmation vis-a-vis the Senate. This is what he wants. It's what the American people wants. I want to see transformational change in the future of this country. We got to walk ourselves back off this cliff that we're jumping off of with the Biden-Harris administration, but I'm deeply concerned that Washington will do what it always does, is put the same people in place, keep the bureaucrats in power, and not do right by the American people. And I'll be there, standing in the brink, making sure everybody knows what's really going on in Washington and exposing it every step of the way.
All right, Congressman, we'll be watching your work. Congratulations to you. Thank you.
The Hooters on Wolf Road drawing protesters twice in recent weeks.
Justice for Brandy, justice for all. Everybody has justice, trans rights.
I'm suing Hooters for sex-based discrimination.
She hoped to someday work there. However, after her recent transition, Brandy claims that she's not respected there as a woman.
They would use male pronouns. They would refer to me as he.
She says she applied 3 times for employment.
I said, do you want to see my experience or anything? Because I had previous jobs I've had written down. And he said, well, we don't care about experience. We hire on the basis of personality, and there's an image that needs to be met.
They just claimed that you had, prior to transitioning and after, you had frequently made multiple servers at the restaurant uncomfortable by informing them you wanted to marry them, discussing masturbation.
I never said any of that.
The Hooters company says that you had threatened to go to a gun range for practice for the next time you came to the restaurant.
My mom would take me to the gun range and for clay pigeon shooting trap. I feel like one of the servers might have overheard what me and my dad were talking about and misunderstood what we were talking about.
Ultimately, Brandy says she does not want money.
What I really want is an apology. I'm never going to get that.
It was a scary time for me.
In July of 2023, she sent the HR department at Liberty an email saying she identified as a trans woman. She sent another follow-up email to HR on August 8th. They scheduled a meeting with her that same day. During the meeting, she says they gave her a letter that said she was fired.
The termination letter that Liberty University provided Eleanor and read aloud in that meeting cited verbatim, said denying biological and chromosomal sex assigned at birth was the basis for termination.
Don't ever let someone tell you who you are or aren't.
A transgender woman is speaking out after winning a settlement against an East County gym she says repeatedly denied her access to the women's locker room.
Absolutely elated. Absolutely, it's validation.
More than 5 years after her ordeal began, Kristen Wood says the fight was worth it. In 2016, after she began her transition, she was harassed by a male gym member. She tells us she asked managers to use the women's locker room, but they repeatedly denied her access for nearly a year, despite a doctor's note confirming her transition, and even after she legally changed her gender.
I'm a transgender woman, and my pronouns are she and her.
In a live-streamed sermon about telling the truth without fear of consequence, Pastor Junia Joplin revealed her own truth, that she's a transgender woman. She believes it cost her her job.
I thought it might be the last sermon I ever got to preach,
Dude,
so I wanted to say things.
Can you imagine how pissed you'd be? You go to Hooters and they're like, hey, one of those hot chick we're gonna get tonight. And you get a train, you're like, what the fuck is this shit? A joke? I get being punked right now?
Joplin was the lead pastor at Lauren Park Baptist Church, where she presented as male until last June.
That's like,
Schaefer, who is
that's like going to the strip club. It's like a well-known strip club. Everybody knows that it has the hottest strip club, the strippers, you know, and you go and you get a private dance, but you're going to get you don't know. You're just going to get a random one. And then the tranny walks in. What the fuck? I don't know. You know, like, what are these people thinking? We're just going to accept them as women because they say that they're women now. Fucking stupid. Look at this dude, thinks he looks like a woman.
Is suing Paulding Schools and a school bus drivers union after she was fired on January 11th, 2022. Schaefer was arrested for an OVI by Defiance Police in late 2021 and lost both of her jobs. But those charges were later dismissed because her blood test came back with an alcohol content of 0. Schaefer believes the arrest was because of a 911 caller who targeted her because she is transgender.
Maddie Wade worked 9 years at Starbucks. She was promoted to supervisor and oversaw baristas at this location at Milburn and Herndon. Last October, Maddie was known as Matthew and knew it was time to become her real self, a female. Wade says she told her manager.
The day after I had talked to him about my transition, he made me aware that it was challenging for him to accept because of his religious views.
In a lawsuit against that manager and Starbucks, Wade claimed she started feeling discriminated against.
Wow. They're all trying to get paid off of being tranny. Can we sue the trans for false advertising is the top comment. Before 2020, this would have been satire. Hooters has a rule, you have to be approachable. Nobody is comfortable around these poor people. So we can't wear a MAGA hat in a restaurant and we get denied service. So when a trans gets the same treatment, it's unfair. Hooters isn't a gay bar, just saying. We're truly in the end times. Can we go back to normal? I'm so over this shit. Enough already. Live your life the way you want, but stop blaming, pushing it on people and crying about it. How is this not a South Park episode? This reminds me of the episode of King of the Hill where Dale gets a job at Hooters. Mike Judge once again predicted the future. California is lost. This is hilarious. There is no such thing as my truth and his truth or her truth, only the truth. Man sues Hooters for being denied a job. Are my other kitties? Where are the kitties? What is this?
Now it's time for Lefties Losing It, and let's start Lefties
Everybody's
with
favorite
this dose of
Australian.
insanity. I will give this woman credit because she
That's
starts
Lou.
off with some honesty. She calls herself unhinged and then proceeds to act like she is unhinged.
Completely unhinged. I went to the grocery store, and while standing in line, I was trying to guess who voted against my rights. And I couldn't guess anymore. I was out of guesses. Because you're like sheep in wolf's clothing, and I just wanted to scream.
These people are insufferable, and it's wolf in sheep's clothing, not sheep in wolf's clothing. If nursery rhyme themes confuse you, it might explain why you're a lefty. And this next lass thinks she's brave and profound, but personally I find her a little sad and scary.
How's this for a motivational phrase? Our resistance will be talked about for generations.
Terrifying. Now, continuing the Trump derangement syndrome theme, let's check in on this young lass who identifies as a lad and decided to get the testosterone molecule tattooed on her neck to resist Donald Trump.
Life is worth living.
What?
Why do that? I mean, do you want to be unemployable? I'm stating the obvious
What?
here, but real men don't need to get testosterone molecules tattooed prominently on their bodies because, you know why? They've got that XY chromosome. We all have testosterone, but us ladies are lacking the Y, and no amount of ink is going to change that. Now to a young lady who thought she was going to be a fixture in the White House. This is the 23-year-old daughter of Tim and Gwen Walz, Hope Walz.
This country does not deserve Kamala Harris. That woman should go live her best life wherever she wants, doing whatever she wants, because we don't deserve her at this point.
I agree with that. America doesn't deserve Kamala. It deserves a lot better, and that's why they voted for Donald Trump, and they're getting better with Trump and Vance. It's good when we can all agree, isn't it? Now, listen as Hope Walz, like all lefties losing it, shows she's full of hate and loathing while claiming to be all about love and tolerance.
These people have to live in their own skin, as in J.D. Vance and Donald Trump have to be J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. And that is not a punishment I would wish upon anybody except those two individuals. Yeah, so I'm just really grateful that I am who I am and that I'm on the side of love and hope and joy and progress.
Oh, gosh. She's not new to activism. Journalist Andy No reports that during the deadly BLM Antifa riots in her state in 2020, Hope leaked information about the National Guard to inform rioters when to disperse. But I have some good news here. Hope Walz has finally taken care of her personal hygiene and had a shower and brushed her teeth. How do I know this? Because she posted about it. Really?
This morning, I woke up and decided I needed to take a shower, and so I finally did that, and I did my skincare for the first time in a couple days, and this is very embarrassing, but I brushed my teeth for the first time since Tuesday night.
Dude,
now to the lunatic race-baiting network of MSNBC, which has seen its primetime audience plummet by around 50%. They've gone from airing diabolical lies to the sort of slander that could and should get them sued. And I really do hope Pete Hegseth calls his lawyers after seeing this.
Add the Secretary of Defense nominee, Peter Hegseth, the Fox News commentator as well, because this is someone who weekend host. important distinction. This is someone who, is known to be a white supremacist, known to be an extremist, whose platform, whose book is basically about his opposition to the advancement of black officers to the top brass.
Absolute lies, the ugliest of lies. I really do hope he sues. And over at CNN, they're trying to scare the American people about Trump, but they just end up making him look even cooler.
And it really looks like ancient Rome here. This is sort of the conquering Republican Caesar who's going into the Colosseum and everyone's cheering, and he's got his political gladiators with him. That appearance isn't just about him enjoying the applause. He's sending a message to the Senate. For sure. Like, not only are you entertained, but these are my people, and are you willing to fight? Because here's who I have.
And are any of us surprised by this? I feel like for anybody who has been covering Trump's campaign or his movement the past few years, these picks, sure, they're raising eyebrows, to say the least, but
familiar character.
Yes, exactly. They've been with him at all these rallies. They've played a key role in where he's at now.
She's 100% right. You know, these picks may have surprised a few people, but they're backed 100% by just about every Trump voter because they knew this was coming. These other people he's had around him. And the moment they were talking about there is this. We're about to look at it. Trump entering Madison Square Garden for UFC 309 and hearing the thunderous applause. He walks in with Elon, Tulsi, RFK, and the rest of the crew.
Who is now making his way to the world-famous octagon, flanked by UFC CEO Dana White, 45, soon to be 47, President-elect Donald Trump.
I wish the people at home could hear the sound in this room. It's so loud in here. It is so loud. It's always loud when he comes here, but now that he's won, now that he's the president again, oh my God.
Now, that whole event was incredible for so many reasons. You know what? I've just decided here and now that I'm going to do a top 5 UFC 309 moments tomorrow night, as long as I can get around those pesky copyright issues. Don't sue me, Dana.
I don't even know who Tulsi is, really. I was there, though.
All right, over in Pennsylvania, counties there have until Wednesday to begin the recount for Pennsylvania's Senate seat as Bob Casey still refuses to concede the race to Senator-elect Dave McCormick. This as Utah Senator Mike Lee says, quote, if Bob Casey doesn't concede, Pennsylvania keeps counting illegal votes and Casey relies on those votes to claim victory. The Senate could refuse to seat him. Mark Harris is the McCormick campaign's lead strategist, and he joins me now. Mark, good morning to you. So I want to get to Senator Lee's comments in just a moment, but first, this recount is happening. So are there any concerns when it comes to the outcome of this recount from the McCormick camp?
Well, look, we are concerned about what some of the counties are engaging in, which is clearly an effort to help Bob Casey. There's Bucks County, Montgomery County, who are involved in the unlawful acts of counting unlawful ballots. So yes, we are concerned about that aspect, but ultimately we're up tens of thousands of votes. Dave McCormick is the senator-elect. We're going to come through the recount in the lead. We are going to win. But, you know, it's quite frankly unconscionable that these counties are engaging in this behavior. And so that's why we've been very clear from the beginning about holding them accountable. Our legal teams, the RNC, the NRSC, we're going to hold all these counties accountable for their actions because these election officials need to follow the law. Okay. The Supreme Court in Pennsylvania, which is, by the way, controlled by Democrats, has laid out what the law is. We're just asking these counties to follow it. And unfortunately, 2 and possibly more counties have decided they aren't going to do that. And so we're going to fight to hold them accountable every day.
I hear your words. And what you're referring to, several Democrat officials have admitted to counting ballots that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said should not be counted because they are lacking dates or signatures. And here is one quote that really stands out. Take a listen to this. This is the Bucks County Commissioner on what she plans to do with this recount effort. Watch this.
I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
Okay, so first of all, would love to get your reaction to this woman admitting to the fact that she could be breaking the law here by counting these votes. And also a more technical question, when it comes to the recount effort, will these ballots that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said shouldn't be counted, will they ultimately count in the final totals in the recall?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, one, as you said, clear violation of the law. She admits it on camera. I mean, there's going to be accountability and repercussions for this. We are in court right now over it, and we expect to hear. Ultimately, these ballots will not count. We have full confidence that the court system is going to intervene here and stop these counties that have clearly gone rogue. You have 62, 63 counties doing it the right way. We have a handful of counties, all controlled by Democrats, doing it the wrong way, and we're going to hold them accountable. But ultimately, that's why Dave McCormick is going to win. We have a big enough lead that these shenanigans ultimately aren't going to matter, but we're going to hold them accountable and fight every day to make sure that Dave McCormick, who is the rightfully elected senator from Pennsylvania, gets to the U.S. Senate.
So you could say that the party of election integrity is not practicing what it preaches. Also, this recall is going to cost taxpayers $1 million, but we're going to be watching it. Mark, we got to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest.
Doocy, baby. Out of here. Doocy.
As concerns are growing over North Korean troops' involvement in Russia's war of invasion in Ukraine, a new study has revealed an alarming issue. According to sources familiar with the assessments from a group of 20 countries, North Korea may eventually deploy 100,000 troops to support Kremlin in hostilities in Ukraine if relationship between Pyongyang and Moscow continues to strengthen. Being part of multiple evaluations concerning the growing alliance between Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, the new report emphasized that while this scenario is not expected to occur in the near future, the deployment of 100,000 troops would likely happen on rotation basis over time rather than in a single batch. A similar concern was voiced by Ukraine's ambassador to South Korea Dmytro Ponomarenko in early November. In an interview with the U.S. media, Ponomarenko said his country expected up to 15,000 North Korean troops deployed to fight in Russia's border Kursk region where Ukraine launched large-scale incursion in early August. South Korea's defense ministry and presidential office have refused to comment on these claims. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly urged Western allies to respond to Pyongyang's troops deployment in Russia, stressing that Pyongyang's involvement in the war would further exacerbate the conflict. The deepening cooperation between Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un will also be raised at the G20 summit in Brazil this week, including by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz when he meets Chinese President Xi Jinping. Prominent Russian opposition figures led a march of at least 1,000 people in central Berlin Sunday, criticizing Russian President Vladimir Putin and his war in Ukraine and calling for democracy in Russia. Behind a banner that read, "No Putin, No War," the protesters were led by Yulia Navalnaya, the widow of top Putin critic Alexei Navalny, as well as Ilya Yashin and Vladimir Kara-Murza, who were freed from Russian detention in a high-profile prisoner exchange this summer. Shouting "Russia without Putin" and other chants in Russian, the demonstrators held up signs with a wide array of messages on a red background, including "Putin equals war" and "Putin is a murderer" in German. Some marched with the flags of Russia or Ukraine, as well as a white-blue-white flag used by some Russian opposition groups. Organizers said the march began near Potsdamer Platz and went through the Brandenburg Gate and Checkpoint Charlie and was expected to end outside the Russian embassy. The march demands the immediate withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine, the trial of Vladimir Putin as a war criminal, and the release of all political prisoners in Russia, the protesters said in a statement.
Как у вас настроение? Вы здесь собрались для того, чтобы сказать «нет» войне! Нет 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 войне! Россия без Путина! Россия без Путина!
Уважаемые журналисты, пожалуйста, отойдите на 5 метров! Дите, плиз, 5 метров!
Lieber Journalisten, wieder rechts oder links? Rechts oder links?
Россия без Путина! Россия без Путина!
Свободу России! Победы Украине!
России! Победу Украине! Свободу России!
Свободу политзаключенным! Свободу политзаключенным!
Любовь сильнее страха! Любовь сильнее страха!
Россия будет свободной!
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has overseen a field trial of domestically produced kamikaze drones, state media reported. Kim stressed that the country needs to soon move from prototyping to full-scale production to be able to incorporate large-scale use of unmanned aircraft into its military doctrine. The news agency KCNA added. The agency published photos showing Kim and two other senior officials observing what it claimed was the deployment of several unmanned aircraft, images of which were blurred. The prototypes tested were developed by a research facility associated with North Korea's unmanned aerial technology complex. The report said, boosters are used for the launch of the weapons while engineers are exploring various types of airframes, with one model apparently designed with 4 wings in a cross configuration, according to the report. North Korean drones were designed for both ground and naval warfare, having different ranges and employ some form of homing after reaching the end of their programmable path, the KCNA claimed. According to the KCNA, the drones reportedly flew along various routes and struck targets with precision. Images from the report showed what appeared to be a BMW sedan being destroyed and older tank models blown up, highlighting the drone's capabilities. Kim expressed satisfaction with the weapons development process and stressed the need to build a serial production system as early as possible and go into full-scale mass production, noting how drones are becoming crucial in modern warfare. According to KCNA, Kim highlighted that drones are inexpensive and straightforward to produce, making them suitable for various military applications. The report did not specify whether Kim directly mentioned South Korea. It is expected that North Korea will then supply Russia with kamikaze drones. These drones will also be used against Ukraine. Russia is also helping North Korea in the development of such drones. In October 2024, North Korea accused South Korea of deploying drones to disperse anti-North Korean propaganda leaflets over Pyongyang, warning of potential forceful retaliation if such actions were repeated. South Korea's military neither confirmed nor denied these allegations. Tensions in the region have escalated, while Kim showcases advancements in North Korea's nuclear and missile programs. These developments include nuclear-capable weapons and intercontinental ballistic missiles with the potential to reach the US mainland.
Simon's heart, man. Heart.
Thousands of North Korean troops being used to bolster Russian forces in Ukraine show Vladimir Putin's desperation to compensate for losses on the front line. Putin's forces are believed to be losing hundreds of troops a day, with Ukrainian estimates going as high as 1,200 to 1,500, so the more than 10,000 troops South Korea believes are in Russia would last 2 weeks or so at that rate. The troops are already under fire, being shelled in the Russian border region of Kursk, according to Kyiv. That is the area where Ukrainian troops have held territory, having started a daring raid in August. North Korean soldiers are now in place, mainly in locations around Russia's Kursk region, where Ukrainian forces have captured some Russian territory, and that the troops have already suffered combat casualties. North Korean mothers who sent their children to Russia must feel unimaginable pain, said Kim Jong-ah, a North Korean defector and former first lieutenant in the North Korean People's Army who spoke to VOA Korean. It drives you crazy. How else can you express that feeling? Said Kim, herself a mother who now runs a non-profit in Seoul that promotes women's rights in North Korea. They cannot even cry as hard as you want at home because there's no soundproof walls between houses. Kim, who escaped North Korea in 2009, said the families of those North Korean soldiers in Russia must be suffering without being able to express their grievances due to pressure from the North Korean regime. It is widely believed that the Kim Jong-un regime mobilized its elite Storm Corps special forces to support Russia. Lee Hyun-seung, a former soldier in the Storm Corps unit and an escapee who now lives in the US, told VOA Korean that the North Korean regime does not inform families of overseas deployments, unit locations, or personal safety issues for fear of leaking military secrets. Lee suggested that news of the deployment is likely already spreading by word of mouth among residents, and that there will certainly be internal opposition among residents to this clear violation of human rights, deploying the troops without notice to the families. Rumors will spread quickly, and if the families who were not aware of the deployment find out their sons were sacrificed, this will be a huge blow to the regime. In a recent talk hosted by the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, Tae Young-ho, former North Korean diplomat who served in South Korea's National Assembly after his defection, said although Pyongyang is keeping the deployment secret, North Korean troop fatalities will be hard to keep from public view. Tae also said that North Korea has a very low birth rate, with families having only 1 or 2 children, so parents will not be able to accept the fact that their children died defending Russia, not their own country. Correspondent Bjorn Stridsel, who visited Ukrainian positions near the city of Toretsk, says the Ukraine has recently introduced the use of massive 2S7 Pion self-propelled artillery system into its armed forces, according to Bild. Toretsk, a Ukrainian stronghold since Russia's first invasion of Donbass in 2014, is a strategically important settlement. Control of the city would give Russian forces a foothold to advance further into Ukrainian-held territory in Donetsk Oblast, a key objective in their military campaign. A 2S7 Pion self-propelled artillery system weighs 60 tons and has a 12-meter barrel. This is the heaviest operational cannon in the world, which was developed by the USSR in the 1960s for destroying concrete fortifications of the enemy. The Pion requires 203mm caliber projectiles, each weighing 100 kilograms. The publication notes that by spring 2022, the Ukrainian forces had quickly depleted their Soviet-supplied ammunition stockpiles, which led to the withdrawal of these self-propelled artillery systems from the front line. Recently, the US provided the necessary projectiles. The US had produced them in the 1950s and 60s for their M110 and M115 howitzers. The 2S7 Pion main armament consists of a 244 203mm cannon. The 203mm barrel has an overall length of 56.5 calibers and weighs a total of 7,800 kilograms and has a barrel life of about 450 rounds. When traveling, the 203mm cannon is held in position by a manually operated travel lock mounted on top of the cab. Gun elevation, traverse, loading and operation of the spade are all hydraulic with manual controls for emergency use. Mounted at the very rear of the tracked chassis is a large recoil spade that, when lowered to the ground, provides stability during firing. The gun operator is seated at the rear of the vehicle on the left side and for the engagement of targets has a standard PG-1M panoramic telescope that is used in conjunction with the K1 collimator. Ammunition is of the separate loading type, projectile and charge with a maximum muzzle velocity of 960 m/s. The maximum range using unassisted ammunition is 37.5 kilometers. The standard 203mm HE round is designated ZOF-43 and weighs 110 kilograms with a total of 4 projectiles and charges being carried on the 2S7 for immediate use. The remainder of the ammunition load is carried by another vehicle, usually a truck. In addition, there is a rocket-assisted high explosive projectile that weighs 103 kilograms and and has a maximum range of 47,500 m. The
Things look
Su-27 is also
ancient,
able to fire
man.
chemical and nuclear shells. On the turret's front, Ukrainian artillery personnel fire the Pion even before receiving the order to shoot. The Pion must reach its operating temperature, explained Ukrainian officer Rostislav. Once the order is given, the artillery units quickly emerge from their shelter and position the Pion on the firing point. The retractable spade is deployed, pressing into the ground to absorb the powerful recoil. When the Pion fires, the earth around shakes. Stritzel noted.
It's amazing they're able to be accurate with
Recently,
that.
Russian President Vladimir Putin and the heads of Russia's 3 largest oil companies rejected a proposal to merge into one large structure. The talk is about the merger of 2 state-owned companies, Gazprom Neft and Rosneft, with Lukoil. The Financial Times reports. The source writes that the head of the Russian Ministry of Energy, Sergei Sivilev, the husband of Putin's cousin, is in favor of such a merger. At
Russia's
the
starting
same
to
time,
freak
former
out.
heads of Russian oil companies stated that such a merger would give state companies
The
access
EU
to Lukoil's trading
is gonna
division
stop
in
buying.
the UAE. However, the Kremlin understands that all Russian oil companies would then fall under sanctions. The merger was first announced on November the 9th. However, the Kremlin and oil companies declined to comment. Conflicting reports about a proposed merger of a Russian oil company highlight potential factional fighting between Putin's cronies and the heads of Russian energy companies. Sivilev tried to use his family connections to promote the idea of merging the 3 companies. However, the oil company's management also used its leverage in the Kremlin. Rosneft CEO Sechin and Gazprom CEO Miller are longtime and close friends of Putin. The latter had to decline Sivilev's offer, although Putin himself was interested in such a merger. Then the Kremlin would be able to control the entire oil-producing industry of the Russian Federation without any problems. Experts do not rule out that such a merger was aimed exclusively against Sechin in order to weaken his role in the company. Others claim that it was he who insisted on the merger in order to later become the CEO of all 3 Russian oil companies. The press service of Rosneft denies Sechin's evil intentions. Earlier, media reported that Russian oligarchs are concerned about Trump coming to power in the United States. Russian oligarchs do not share the joy of some of their compatriots over Donald Trump's victory in the US elections and do not believe that the elected American president will lift the sanctions imposed against Russia, just as they do not believe in a quick end to the war in Ukraine. In this regard, they do not see prospects for optimism in the Russian economy, pointing to its significant change over the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, which makes long-term goals unattainable. Due to the departure of international companies from Russia, the Russian economy is experiencing a degradation of production capacity, especially in the technology and engineering sectors. The Kremlin's declared import substitution is proceeding slowly, and sending Russians to war is exacerbating the labor shortage.
Is it really? Russia's spreading it a little thin. Oh, what was that?
I'm still 3 kilometers away from the camp with just a bottle of milk and a bar of chocolate. After finishing, I'm still 3 kilometers away from
Chinese merc stunned Ukraine war isn't Call of Duty. That was 12 days ago. Hold on.
the camp with just a bottle of milk and a bar of chocolate. After finishing those, I'm still tired and hungry.
Ma'am? Yes, hon. More hot nuggets.
So this war isn't like I imagined. I thought it'd be like in the movies. Man, this morning I thought we'd be...
Well, hold on a second. Let me get this right. The war is not like the movies. Let me see if I'm tracking. So we got Chinese mercenaries going to fight for Russia against Ukraine. And it's not like the movies, the video games. It's shocking. They don't get enough chocolate. Only chocolate and milk. Let's take a gander.
Walking 5 kilometers, but we ended up walking 8. Now we're heading back, and I see others riding in cars, but we're walking on our own 2 legs. Here, everyone else's training involves riding to and from locations, but we walk. 8 kilometers there, 8 kilometers back, 16 kilometers. I'm exhausted.
This kid, a link to the full video, signed up for the infantry. He's like, we walked 16 kilometers. Ain't there, right back. What the hell's going on? When you sign up for the infantry, you think it's on foot, right? It's not mechanized infantry. Let's keep going.
Thirsty and hungry, and my legs feel like they don't even belong to me anymore.
No.
Others are trained as mechanized infantry. We don't even get a motorbike. I'm still 3 kilometers away from the camp with just a bottle of milk and a bar of chocolate. After finishing those, I'm still tired and hungry. Others ride during training, but our legs are like the wheels of a motorbike. If I'd known this, I wouldn't have bragged about being part of the mechanized infantry.
Didn't turn out as sold to him, huh? He didn't read the fine print. And the CCP said, go fight for Russia, son. It'll be good. You'll come back a hero. With your shield or on your shield. This kid, you think you'd watch it and go, I'm not putting this out on social media. This comes from a Chinese observer. Again, like
Nice.
I'm already lagging behind by at least a kilometer. There are two guys ahead of me, one from Chongqing and another from Yunnan. They left me behind by at least a kilometer. This has got to be the hardest job in the world, being a mechanized infantryman. I finally get it. The Russians even had us gathered firewood.
This isn't a drill. Things are wild out there. They're talking about using the 14th Amendment to Trump if he wins. Think about it. What happens if things spiral out of control? Civil unrest, more cyber attacks, pharmacy shut down. Oxychloroquine Limited comes next. Like America.
I came here to fire a gun, today collecting firewood, and today they want us to chop it. I'm exhausted. I came here to fire a gun, not chop wood.
The hurry up and wait, right?
Fuck?
Came here to fire a gun. He saw it on YouTube, right? He saw it in Call of Duty. He's like, I just want to get it on 100% of the time. Now he's chopping wood, burning shit. He's like, they even made us chop wood. Yeah. You're a cannon fodder, boy.
I didn't expect this to last so long, really. Before, it used to be just a day and a night at most. You go to a small forest, rest during the day, and do whatever you want, then move forward at night. But here, there's no day or night distinction. It's just nonstop. And the drones on the other side, there's so many of them. You probably haven't seen drones blowing up tanks before, because there's electronic interference here. You can hear drones overhead from far away, and there are more of them than birds. When their drones come over, there are usually one or two at the front, acting as decoys.
Not to be Captain Obvious here, but this drone shit, these little 3D printed drones is terrifying. The big think tanks will say, this is good. Russia-Ukraine, we can see how the tech's going to come in, peer-to-peer for the most part. We got a lot of guys on YouTube really go through the levels of detail with the Ukraine war. Tell me your favorite channel on that. Let me know. And this is interesting from a Chinese perspective. So from the Russian perspective, a Chinese mercenary.
If you have interference, it only works on the first two. But then the drones behind start boom, 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 bombing around you. It's so bad that no one dares to stick their head out. Nobody dares to.
No.
Their intelligence is really good. As soon as the tank arrives here, they've already detected it. Then they start bombing, and no one dares to expose themselves. Some of the drones even carry C4 explosives or anti-tank rockets.
Yeah.
They hit your tank with a bang bang, at least 2 or 3 shots, and it's turned into scrap metal. So this war isn't like I imagined. I thought it'd be like in the movies. I thought it'd be okay, shooting from a distance, throwing a grenade up close, kicking the door down. It's all just like what you see in the movies.
No, it didn't turn out that way. You're not kicking in a door. SEAL Team 6, well-trained. I mean, think about these Tier 1 units, Tier 2 units. Super well-trained. This guy probably has limited military training, almost National Guard type of deal. He goes over, and he goes, wow, this is never ending. The machine's going to churn me up, and I'm just another number.
I get to try out all those things from the films I watched. It'd be fun, a great experience. But it's different here. They're ruthless, and so are we. To put it bluntly, no one holds back. Even the most basic bullets have been swapped out for armor-piercing rounds, just to make sure they kill. Understand? They're making sure you don't survive.
Yeah.
Earlier, I said my expedition was over, but that wasn't true. My superior spoke to me and said that my contract would only end once the war was won. As an intelligence officer.
Pretty interesting, huh? It's like World War II. Your term of service is over when the war's over, son. Think that's effective? Like, you signed up, your deployment's never ending. You can get out when the war's over. Does that work? Can we do that here in the United States? That's a bigger question. Is it a good thing? I'm not going either way. We used to do that. And we don't. I guess the Russians do, kind of.
I'm obligated to continue leading members of the storm troop. They're planning to send me to command the most dangerous unit within the troop. 2 of my men managed to escape, and now there's a full-scale search for them. If they get caught, it's certain death. So I can only wish them good luck. And about this job, it's basically about getting fed. Some people accuse me of siding with the enemy. First of all, you need to understand who pays my salary and feeds me. If I come back, will you feed me? If I can't even get enough to eat, what's the point of talking about ideals?
It's confusing here. I thought China was a communist utopia. Everybody eats. So he's taking almost no money to fly from China to Russia to fight for the Russian army, probably with no money. He's like, this is better than China. And not let me go back anyway. It's fascinating. I haven't seen this side of the fighting. If there's some out there, clue me in. I've only seen the Ukraine side, because every YouTuber's got all this footage. There's boom, 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 boom.
If I return, I'll have to find a job myself, and there's no guarantee anyone will hire me. So I go back. Some of the guys here complain about how bad the Russians are, how they aren't nice to us. I tell them, no matter how bad the Russians are, the culture is different, but they still give me what I'm owed. A lot of fans have been asking me about joining the Russian military as a mercenary, so let me explain.
All right, let's hear it.
Listen, if you're still able to make a living back in China, don't come here to be a mercenary. Being a mercenary means your life is basically over. With the war being this intense, coming here makes you a target, plain and simple.
It's called cannon fodder. Pink mist are eviscerated by a drone strike. Seen a lot of that in the big brains. The Army War College says this is great. We can see how peer-to-peer war works. You are seeing it. These guys are telling you on the flip. They just want to get paid and eat, clearly.
They might offer you 20,000 yuan a month, but there's no guarantee you'll make it back alive.
No.
I really hope you all don't consider coming to Russia to be a mercenary. It's as simple as this. Once you're on the front line, the chances of surviving are slim. Do you understand?
On October 19th, Chinese
3,000 a
mercenaries Lao
month?
Wang and the warden did a live stream where they casually mentioned how errors by Russian commanders are common. They said many bodies can't be identified, so
I bet they can. You think they did DNA like we do? You think so? No. Just dig a hole with a big excavator and dump it all in. These guys are never coming home to a Gold Star family. They're gone. Not even, you think they'd be part of the Chinese military kind of attached to the Russians. They go over as mercenaries.
they're just reported as missing. The warden added, "There have been 153 Chinese casualties on my front line. If we count your area, there will be even more. Of the North Korean soldiers that came with us, 8 of them were gone in just 1 day, even at the commander level. And they say North Koreans are tough? Come on."
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? North Koreans are tough. We got the most battle-tested group of men who've been summarily kicked out of the military or decided to get out in our history. 20 years in the GWAT. You see guys on YouTube with 10 combat deployments. I think you want to keep those guys in, right? They seem to get pushed to the side for whatever reason. The DEI, is it just that's the way shit goes? Big green machine keeps stirring. But these guys feel that their situation in China is worse than them going to Russia to fight for no money.
Oh, of course, that's crossback.
What do you think about
you
this?
see the injury.
This whole thing going on in that region is showing a lot, like how warfare is going to be fought. How would we do? Last thing, if you made this far, thank you. How would we do in a peer-to-peer? All these drones, all this tech,
Good.
they can see
Maybe
everything.
he'll get a good
We were
bill
fighting
on the
people in
second
sandals
bowl.
and man jammies for 20 years. And when ISIS came in, or ISIL, trained by us, it was problematic, right? They had no air, no drones. Till the end, there was some, but not like we got. What do you think? We do well, poorly? Put that in the comments.
Crossback still injured. Hopefully he goes to the other bowl. Then just run off. I go out there, he'll just run away. I wonder how long it's been since he's gotten a good meal. He looks hungry. Very hungry. He's jumping down from the wall, though, I think. Oh, no, don't go the other way. Oh, no. I was afraid of this. Running off, just hurry up and running off the other way. I want to see them get to that other bowl. That'd be sweet. Should be able to smell it over there. Mm-hmm. It's smart. I was holding it down. All right, there he goes. Maybe he's just weak because he hasn't been able to find any food like this. Does seem to be hobbling a little more though. Nice. Wow, what if he eats all of it? That would just show that he really needed to have some food. Yeah, because probably everybody else that wants to feed him is either feeding the cats outside while they're doing it, they're staying out there with them or something, or they try to go out there once they see him maybe, and it runs off. Therefore not getting to eat. But the other cats bully him too. Really timid. Bad. But maybe it'll start coming by. It's good that he still wants to eat. He doesn't care about the size of the bowl, where the food's at, flavor of it. That's a hungry cat. Oh, it looks like he might give up now. Kind of hard to get. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's getting it a little, isn't it? Oh. Yeah. I can have. It just. I think it just jumped up the wall. Never gonna have use of that arm again, though, probably. Pretty sad. Because because we saw him when he was like all the other ones. Hell is droopy. What do you mean? Like he's depressed or something? Pain, maybe. What? I can't think of any way to trap him though, because it's so random that he shows up.
President Joe Biden has authorized Ukraine to use U.S.-supplied missiles to strike deeper inside Russia, easing limitations on the longer-range weapons as Russia deploys thousands of North Korean troops to reinforce its war, according to a U.S. official and 3 other people familiar with the matter. The decision allowing Kyiv to use the Army Tactical Missile System, or ATACMS, for attacks farther inside Russia comes as President Vladimir Putin positions North Korean troops along Ukraine's northern border to try to reclaim hundreds of miles of territory seized by Ukrainian forces. Biden's move also follows the presidential election victory of Donald Trump, who has said he would bring about a swift end to the war and raised uncertainty about whether his administration would continue the United States' vital military support for Ukraine. The official and the others knowledgeable about the matter were not authorized to discuss the U.S. decision publicly and spoke on condition of anonymity. Zelensky and many of his Western supporters have been pressing Biden for months to allow Ukraine to strike military targets deeper inside Russia with Western-supplied missiles, saying the U.S. ban had made it impossible for Ukraine to try to stop Russian attacks on its cities and electrical grids. His statement came shortly after he posted a message of condolence on Telegram following a Russian attack on a 9-story building that killed at least 8 people in the northern city of Sumy, 40 kilometers from the border with Russia. Russia also launched a massive drone and missile attack, described by officials as the largest in recent months, targeting energy infrastructure and killing civilians. The attack came as fears are mounting about Moscow's intentions to devastate Ukraine's power generation capacity before the winter.
Ready for war, I'm ready for war with the music going. Music going. It's war music, missile music. Don't you wanna use it on them now? Just shoot them off, shoot them off, shoot them off. Yeah, yeah, that's my missile, baby. Fire away. Missile for you today.
China's leader Xi Jinping met for the last time with U.S. President Joe Biden but was already looking ahead to President-elect Donald Trump and his America First policies, saying Beijing is ready to work with a new administration. The two leaders gathered Saturday on the sidelines of the annual Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. Biden was expected to urge Xi to dissuade North Korea from further deepening its support for Russia's war on Ukraine. Without mentioning Trump's name, Xi appeared to signal his concern that the incoming president's protectionist rhetoric on the campaign trail could send the U.S.-China relationship into another valley. China is ready to work with a new U.S. administration to maintain communication, expand cooperation and manage differences so as to strive for a steady transition of the China-U.S. relationship for the benefit of the two peoples, she said through an interpreter. In a major flourishing sci-tech revolution, neither decoupling nor supply chain disruption is a solution, she said. Only mutual, beneficial cooperation can lead to common development. Small yard, high fence is not what a major country should pursue. There's much uncertainty about what lies ahead in the U.S.-China relationship under Trump, who campaigned promising to levy 60% tariffs on Chinese imports. Biden, who is winding down more than 50 years of public service, talked in broader brushstrokes about where the relationship between the two countries has gone.
For a decade, you and I have spent many hours together, both here and in China and in between. And, I think we spent a long time dealing with these issues.
Can you put on your earpiece? We have simultaneous interpreting.
I learned to speak Chinese. Wish I did.
Okay, let me begin first. It's a great pleasure to see you again, President Biden.
We haven't always agreed, but our conversations have always been candid and always been frank. We have never kidded one another. We've been level with one another. And I think that's vital. These conversations prevent miscalculations, and they ensure the competition between our two countries will not veer into conflict. Be competition, not conflict. That's our responsibility to our people, and as you indicated, to the people around the world. We are the most important alliance, or the most important relationship in the entire world. And how we get along together is going to impact the rest of the world.
The most important bilateral relationship is stable.
The European Union is considering imposing sanctions on China for sending weapons for the first time. The EU reportedly has convincing evidence of the supplies, according to Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. According to the sources, the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs, Josep Borrell, informed EU member states about the relevant intelligence data and called for decisive action. Borrell stated that the evidence was convincing and demonstrated the provision of lethal support to Russia. Now we must consider the full range of tools, including bans on doing business with Chinese companies, freezing assets, and travel bans. But you also have to speak directly to China and make it clear. You have always said you want to remain neutral. You are not neutral. China is also not seeking peace. You are feeding the beast, he said. The news agency sources declined to elaborate on the intelligence findings. However, a senior diplomat referred to very serious reports from Reuters. At the end of September, the agency reported exclusively that a subsidiary of the Almaz anti-Russian state defense company called Kupol had developed and tested a new long-range combat drone in China and aimed to establish mass production there for use in the war against Ukraine. This involved the participation of Chinese experts, cooperation between China and Russia. China claims to maintain a supposedly neutral position regarding Russia's war against Ukraine. However, Chinese companies continue to supply Russia with dual-use goods. Officially, no transfer of Chinese weapons to Moscow has been recorded. Recently, Ukraine's Presidential Commissioner for Sanctions Policy, Vladislav Vasyuk, stated that about 60% of foreign components found in Russian weapons on the battlefield in Ukraine originate from China. Media reports have also indicated that the West possesses evidence of Chinese companies secretly supplying weapons to Russia. This could signal a significant escalation of Beijing's involvement in the war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Fabian Hinz, a research fellow at the International Institute for Strategic Studies, a defense think tank in London, said that if the Chinese government is aware of what is happening, it would be a significant development. If you look at what China is known to have delivered so far, it was mostly dual-use goods. What we haven't really seen, at least in the open source, are documented transfers of whole weapon systems, he said. Vladislav Vasyuk, Ukraine's Presidential Commissioner for Sanctions Policy, told Reuters that about 60% of foreign parts found in Russian weapons on the battlefield in Ukraine came from China. According to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, China is helping Russia prolong its war against Ukraine.
Man, I was listening to that music. Fucking rocking out, man. You know, it was really good. No, the hate crime. Man, I wish I had a button where I could open that thing for you, buddy. Come here. You'll come over here? Son, come here. Son. Come here. Here. Over here. Here. Simon. Hey, Simon. Oh. You can make your mind up now. If you want to be here or not. How about hell is this? The history of
Despite being a
inbreeding.
taboo or outright prohibited by cultures throughout history and around the world, inbreeding has had a major impact. From the royal families eager to maintain their pure divine bloodlines to isolated families, the causes were not understood, yet the consequences were known. It is perhaps helpful to start with a brief explanation as to why inbreeding is a genetic problem. Most of us have 23 pairs of chromosomes, one chromosome for each parent. On each chromosome are hundreds of thousands of genes. Like chromosomes, genes come in pairs, and again, there is one from each parent. If a particular gene from one parent causes an illness or disability, and the other does not, a person has a lower chance of that disease presenting. These recessive genes can rarely cause a problem, though can still be passed on. It is thought that the average person carries around 12 of these genes that can cause a recessive condition. In children of unrelated parents, the risk of the child developing a genetic or congenital condition is around 3%. However, in inbreeding, there is a greater chance of the child receiving two recessive genes from parents who are related, and may have both received the same faulty gene. In the example of two first cousins, the chances of a congenital or genetic condition is doubled. Inbreeding has been used by royal families all over the world. Royal families would engage in inbreeding for multiple reasons. Many royals insisted that they were divinely chosen or had divine blood. Others engaged in inbreeding to maintain their family's control over land. As more and more royal families intermarried to build political alliances, more and more families shared grandparents.
No, I'm
As far
from.
back as ancient Egypt, inbreeding for the royal family.
No, baby, I'm from. So was it inbred? It's different with our family. We all got this. Oh, baby. I promise I'm not an inbreed. No.
Families were seen as perfectly normal. Tutankhamun, perhaps the most famous pharaoh, was a product of inbreeding. He ascended to the throne when he was just 9 and died aged 19. He was plagued by illness, necrosis of the bone, and poor immune system. He likely died due to a fracture in his left thigh bone that failed to heal properly due to his weakened immune system. Tutankhamun's parents were brother and sister, whilst the young king himself took his half-sister as his wife. Buried alongside Tutankhamun were the mummified remains of 2 stillborn daughters. Societies including the Incan, Mayan, and Hawaiian all had royal families that engaged in inbreeding. For the Incans, the divinity of the royal family meant brother and sister would marry to keep the bloodline pure, but inbreeding was perhaps most infamously seen in the royal families of Europe. The Habsburg royal family held the throne of the Holy Roman Empire from 1438 until 1740. By the 16th century, the family held lands in Spain, the Netherlands, France, Italy, Austria, and in the Balkans. The family split into 2 branches, the Austrian and the Spanish branches, with each ruling their respective regions. In order to maintain their control of these territories, the Habsburg family rarely married outside of itself. Uncles would marry nieces, cousins would marry cousins to strengthen and maintain the family's claim, whilst avoiding any possible disputes between the branches. This became such a norm that the inbreeding coefficient amongst the Habsburg family was far higher than could be expected. The coefficient is a way to measure how inbred an individual is, a measure often used in the breeding of pedigreed dogs. A higher coefficient means there will be traits that are more likely to appear in an individual. The range for inbreeding coefficient is on a scale from 0, meaning no inbreeding, to 1, meaning complete inbreeding. As an example, the coefficient for a child with 2 cousins would be 0.0625, whilst the child of a full brother and sister would have a coefficient of 0.25. The most infamous example of the Habsburg royal family was King Charles II of Spain. He had an inbreeding coefficient of 0.25, yet his mother and father were not brother and sister. Rather, they were uncle and niece. There can be high levels of inbreeding where there is regular intermarriage and breeding in the family. This can be best seen, if somewhat confusingly, in the Habsburg family tree. His parents too were inbred, meaning shared genes and recessive conditions were passed to Charles. He was by all accounts severely disabled. His most prominent feature was his jaw, which became known as the Habsburg jaw. Like many of his relatives, he had a protruding jaw, as well as a large tongue. It was said that Charles was unable to speak until he was 4 and swallowed his food whole. As a child, he contracted a number of illnesses, including measles, rubella, and smallpox. It is speculated that he could have suffered with hormone deficiency and kidney failure. He struggled to walk, he struggled to write, and he suffered with depression. Charles was also likely impotent, never producing an heir, and he earned the nickname Charles the Hexed on account of his many conditions and illnesses. This in turn led to conflict on his death as to who would inherit his lands, and his autopsy described him in rather unkind terms, stating, quote, "His heart was the size of a peppercorn, his lungs corroded, his intestines were rotten and gangrenous, he had a single testicle as black as coal, and his head was full of water." The head full of water could indicate that he suffered from hydrocephalus. This is a buildup of spinal fluid in the brain, and could have been linked to his childhood case of measles. Yet he was noted for his kindness towards foreign dignitaries, and for his love of the outdoors, notably spending much of his time hunting. Another notable example in royalty is that of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. The two were first cousins. Some of their children were born with the genetic condition haemophilia. This is a condition that makes it harder for the blood to clot, putting a person at risk of blood loss from an injury that would otherwise be non-fatal. The intermarriage amongst the royal families of Europe was hoped to ensure a lasting peace, a familial tie between the royal houses. But as a result, the gene responsible for haemophilia was spread among the royal families of Europe. At the start of the First World War, the King of Britain, the Kaiser of Germany, and the Tsar of Russia were all cousins, with King George and Tsar Nicholas bearing a striking resemblance. However, these ties proved to be insufficient in stopping the First World War, and yet the consequences of royal inbreeding did have a major impact on the course of the war and in Russian history. The heir to the Russian throne, Alexei Romanov, was a haemophiliac. Both Tsar Nicholas and Tsarina Alexandra shared Queen Victoria as a common ancestor. This resulted in Alexei being a sickly child, and one that had to be protected at all costs. Tsar Nicholas and Alexandra tried everything. Eventually, one of the many healers called to cure Alexei was the mad monk Rasputin. His influence over the Romanov family was one of the factors in their downfall, as it alienated both the Russian nobility and the Russian people. The inbreeding of royalty has even become a staple of popular culture. The Song of Ice and Fire series has the royal Tigerian family engage in inbreeding, not only for political gain, but also for the genetic powers of dragon riding. Another striking example of inbreeding is that of the Blue people of Kentucky, members of the Fugate family. In 1820, by chance, two unrelated carriers of a gene that caused the condition methemoglobinemia. The word is on screen now. This is a blood disorder. Because the couple were carriers of this gene, it resulted in their children being born with blue skin. The family had 9 children, 4 of whom displayed blue skin. The area in which they lived was Knott County, known for its impassable and difficult terrain. Outsiders were rarely welcomed, and over time, the Fugate family married Fugate, passing down the shared recessive gene and the proliferation of blue-skinned people. It was not initially known what the cause was of the blue skin. Some people believed it was some form of curse from the devil, or some unknown racial trait. The blue skin only cemented the isolation of the family and the intermarriages. It would not be until the 1960s that a man by the name of Madison Kewin and a nurse named Ruth Pendergrass shone a light on the cause of the condition. By this point, other families than just the Fugates had people with blue skin. The pair were able to locate a few people with blue skin, and they agreed to undergo tests. It was eventually found that those with blue skin had an abundance of methemoglobin. There was not enough to cause any physical illness, instead only turning the skin blue and the blood a deep brown. Most countries today prohibit incest, notably between brother and sister, parent and child, or aunt and nephew. Few countries prohibit inbreeding between first cousins. In some countries, incestuous relationships between same-sex couples are prohibited, whilst opposite-sex couples are allowed. In others, the inverse is true. Inbreeding between first cousins does remain in some countries. In 30 of the American states, it is prohibited. So too, it is in China and some states in India. There is a greater risk of genetic disorders amongst the children of 2 first cousins when compared to the children of unrelated parents. For the children of first cousins, there is between a 4 and 6% chance of a recessive gene condition, whilst for unrelated, there is a 3% chance of such conditions. Cousin marriages tend to be more common in lower socio-economic areas, or as a means to avoid paying dowries. In Pakistan, instances of first cousin marriage are quite high, where religious, tribal, and caste expectations combine to often pressure such relationships. Genetic disorders are known to be rising, with efforts made to educate families about the dangers of inbreeding. Two of the most famous examples of inbreeding today are the Whitakers in America and the Colt family in Australia. Inbreeding remains one of the more disturbing aspects of many royal family trees, and as our understanding of genetics has improved, inbreeding has become less prevalent. The disturbing cases of the Habsburgs and the examples seen in societies around the world will remain as a grim warning as to the dangers and consequences of inbreeding.
Really? Blood test for what? There's gonna be like Gattaca one day. People aren't gonna be having natural kids anymore.
Many people look at the Middle Ages through romantic eyes. They think about armored knights on lumbering steeds, beautiful damsels in pointy hats, dragons, chivalry, and courtly love. Nothing could be further from the truth. For most people, the Middle Ages were dirty, difficult, and really quite dangerous. Let's find out now why it was unlikely that you could stay alive and prosper, and why you were likely to die quite quickly during that time. Welcome to Medieval Madness. Communication, or the lack of it. Let's just suppose you suddenly arrived in medieval England.
Damn.
There was some sort of time slip and now you're stranded in the middle of the 14th century. The first thing you would realize is that you wouldn't understand a damn thing anybody was saying. The ordinary people spoke Middle English, the posh people spoke French, and the clergy spoke Church Latin.
Oh, wow.
Speaking only modern English, you might be able to understand the odd word, but an intelligible conversation with anybody is impossible at this point.
Shit.
A woman's worth. So now supposing you had picked up a little bit of the language,
She's worth
but
as
you
much
were
as a
unlucky enough
cat.
to be a woman, then you would know all about hardship. Because of the importance placed on biblical texts, medieval women were usually regarded as morally weak, meaning they were oppressed and treated as subservient. In particular, the writings of St. Paul highlighted men's authority over women and their need to stay silent in church and under the control of their husbands. For the peasant woman, work was gendered and she was responsible for the household chores. Not only spinning, brewing, cooking, weaving, and taking care of livestock and children, but also sharing the labor of the farm and fieldwork with the men. Women were expected to marry or become a nun. It is the first option that awaited the majority of women. Marriage meant pregnancy, and that meant childbirth. There was no modern pain relief or sterile hospital setting. Complications that we now consider to be inconsequential could prove fatal for the medieval mother and child. Having money and status didn't guarantee a safe birth, and a caesarean section was only performed if the mother was dying or already dead. In 1420s Florence, for example, 1 in 5 women died during labor. Death during childbirth was so prevalent that women were urged to write out a last will and testament long before giving birth, which kind of takes the shine off what should have been a joyous event.
1 in 5. Jeez.
Early life, early death. Today we consider the death of a child to be rare or unexpected, but if you were born in the Middle Ages, you would be lucky to make it even past your 5th birthday, as the child mortality rate was so high, and 1/3 of children died before that age in medieval England. And the dangers would start whilst you were still in the womb. Unaware of the risks of alcohol fetal syndrome, medieval women would have been blissfully knocking back huge quantities of ale or wine, or both throughout their pregnancies. And don't get me started on their nutrition. The death of a child is one of the most awful tragedies that anyone can imagine. In medieval Europe, the mortality rate was thought to lie somewhere between 20 to 30% dying under the age of 7, depending on the year. That's children dying from incidents during birth, accidents, or because of war or famine and disease. Deadly illnesses included whooping cough, measles, influenza, and stomach infections, sicknesses that can easily be treated today. And the grief was the same for parents living thousands of miles away. In medieval Japan, 48% of the population died as children. 48% is practically 1 in every 2 children dying. Who are you calling a peasant? The problem with living in the Middle Ages was that 85% of the population were serfs, so you would have been more likely to be part of that group than not. Tied to the lord and his land, not only would you have to grow food to sustain yourself and your family, but you would also have to make sure that there was enough to pay the lord his due too. You couldn't leave the land without your lord's permission or even get married. You may as well have been a slave. You would have been always reliant on the weather. Too much rain or not enough could be a catastrophe and cause the failure of crops, which led to malnutrition and, in the worst cases, starvation. Malnutrition meant a weakened immune system, and that led to an upturn in diseases like dysentery, typhus, and smallpox. Food, when it was available, consisted of coarse bread made with barley, oats, rye, or millet, and a thin stew known as pottage. Medieval Europe was teeming with wild game like rabbit, hare, deer, and boar, but these were for the nobility to hunt, not for the lower classes, and the penalty for poaching was usually pretty harsh.
Wow.
Clothing wasn't the comfiest, being made from itchy wool. Houses weren't exactly palatial either. Most had just one room or two rooms with no chimney, and perhaps one or two small windows. They were dark, smoky, smelly, and unsanitary because they were often shared with animals, especially in the winter when conditions outdoors were harsh. With no central heating, lighting, or running water, is it any wonder that medieval lives were so short? The average life expectancy for most men in the 140 years between 1330 and 1479 was just 24 years.
Wow.
Women came out better with an average of 33 years, but still not great.
33 years old.
The justice system. Medieval crime and their punishments were really different from today as well, because the church controlled just about every aspect of life, from what you wore to what you could eat and when. So no nipping out to McDonald's in your long pointy shoes on a Sunday morning for your McMuffin breakfast. If you were the victim of a crime, there were no police. You just had to scream loudly to raise a hue and a cry and hope for the best. For serious crimes, death was the punishment, and these didn't just include murder or treason. Forgery, arson, receiving stolen goods, robbery, and burglary were all punishable by hanging. In fact, stealing anything worth over 12 pence, the equivalent of about 3 weeks' wages, meant a trip to the gibbet. Early in the period, trial by ordeal was a thing. Here, the guilt or innocence of the accused was determined by subjecting the suspect to a painful and often deadly experience, such as walking over red-hot coals or plunging your hand into boiling water or oil. If you were innocent, God would perform a miracle and save you. Petty crimes like being in debt, gambling, playing football, or using abusive language in the street were also dealt with quite harshly, with punishments ranging from public humiliation in the stocks or pillory to branding or imprisonment. Many people died in prison because of the unsanitary conditions and lack of decent food. Most crime was linked to theft because of poverty, so there was a lot of it about. War, what it isn't good for. The list of wars throughout the world during the 1,000-year period of the Middle Ages is insane. In total, there were over 370 wars across many empires, with the last one, the Italian War, finishing in 1504. Many were fought to see which incompetent was going to sit on the throne next as king or queen, and others were contested for what were thought to be noble reasons, such as the Crusades. But then, as it is today, it was the common people who were left to pay the ultimate price. As a serf, and because of the European feudal system, if you lived in the kingdom of one of two rich people who wanted to have a go at each other, then you would be obligated to fight. Peasants had to supply military service to their liege lord on a regular basis. Men were only sent away for short periods of time, so if you were lucky enough not to die in the first 40 days, you could return home. This was because if everyone went off to war at the same time, then there would be no one to take care of the nobles. No labor meant no crops and no money for all the wealthy people to spend on silly wars. The result was a medieval military that was for the most part disorganized, resulting in a lot of dead people. And the noblemen didn't evade death either. Around 30% of them died in one skirmish or another. As for the commoners, no one really knows the victim numbers. They were thought to be so insignificant that nobody ever kept a tally. We can only estimate the casualties from medieval wars, both soldiers and the innocent bystanders caught up in the conflict. During the First Crusade at the Siege of Jerusalem, 90,000 people died. In all, during the Crusade years from 1095 until the end of the 13th century, there were between 1 to 3 million deaths. The 100 Years' War, fought between 1337 and 1453, produced between 2 and 3.5 million fatalities. And in Asia, the Mongol invasions and conquests that took place during the 13th and 14th centuries ended with the loss of between 30 and 40 million lives. It really wasn't a good time to be a soldier or a peasant. Poison. Let's suppose that you happen to be rich during the Middle Ages and able to afford the finer things in life. Would that have made your chances of survival better? You would definitely have eaten better than the peasants with their bread and pottage. For you, the table would be laden with meats such as veal, venison, or peacock in rich cream sauces followed by sugar desserts and fine wine. You would eat your gourmet food from beautifully glazed plates and drink from delicately decorated cups. The problem was that the glazing was made from lead oxide. Yes, it looked lovely and it was practical for cleaning, making it very popular among those who were privileged enough to be able to afford it. But when salty or acidic food was served on glazed plates or kept in glazed pots, it caused the coating to dissolve and the lead was absorbed into the food. Lead is a poisonous heavy metal which collects in the human body over time. Acute poisoning can attack the nervous system and cause headaches, abdominal pain, and infertility. Chronic poisoning may lead to seizures, coma, and death. Because children are still growing, the effects on them can be devastating and affect their ability to learn. Medieval skeletons from cemeteries in more affluent urban areas of Germany and Denmark have shown that people had lead levels well above normal. Lead was also present in stained glass windows, coins, and on roof tiles. Rainwater was often collected from roofs for drinking, and this could have been another source of the poisoning. Bread was the main food staple for the medievals. Often the rye used to make bread would become infected with a fungus called Claviceps purpurea. This caused an infection in humans which was called St. Anthony's fire. There were many outbreaks throughout the Middle Ages which caused tens of thousands of people to die and millions more to become sick. What we now know as ergot poisoning caused hallucinations, muscle cramps, nausea, insomnia, and sores. In extreme cases, when left untreated, the blood flow to an infected person's hands and feet is restricted, causing burning pains.
That's where they get
Gangrene
acid
can set
from,
in, and
right?
fingers, toes, hands, and feet can turn black and drop off. Some historians believe it is ergot poisoning that is responsible for some of the dancing epidemics that occurred between the 14th and 17th centuries. These epidemics involved groups of people, sometimes thousands at a time, dancing erratically in the streets until they collapsed from exhaustion and/or injury. Thank you for watching this episode of Medieval Madness. Please subscribe if you enjoy these videos, and I'll see you next week for another one. Have a great week. Cheers.
Like, they synthesize acid from ergot somehow. LSD. Corn fungus. The fungus among us. Oh, the fungus in my head. Dude, I read this it was some dude who was a smoker for like a lot of his life, and he stopped smoking, and when he did, it allowed some like fungus that was in his lungs to take hold, and he died from it. If you wouldn't have quit smoking, the tar and nicotine or whatever would have kept it at bay. It would have kept it from, you know, carried away.
This is Morbid History, and today we are looking at 3 bizarre medieval cures that were surprisingly effective. No, I'm just kidding. They usually cause more damage than good. Yeah, not great. If you enjoy the content, please leave a like or a comment, and any feedback is appreciated. Let's begin. So, it's the height of the medieval period, and medicine is, well, it's not great. Hygiene practices are virtually non-existent, doctors are downright dangerous, and many cures did more damage than good. Pity to the person with a serious illness. But let's have a look at some of the ailments faced by medieval folk and the so-called cures that would be administered. Prepare yourself for medical marvel. Imagine that one day you wake up with a fever. Where did this fever come from? Well, medieval medicinal belief was firmly anchored in the idea of balance, and not the tightrope walking I have vertigo type. No, we're talking blood, phlegm, black and yellow bile. If any one of these was somehow out of sync, it would cause illness. So back to the fever. This was said to be caused by an excess of blood. And what do we do about excess blood? Well, it's simple. We get rid of it by strapping a bunch of leeches to the patient. But it wasn't just fever. No. Terrible headache. Stick some leeches behind the ears and all will be well. Horrible case of hemorrhoids. No problem. Stick some leeches around the anus and you'll be sitting comfortably in no time.
The anus?
But I hear you ask, wasn't leeching usually only performed by doctors and reserved for the wealthy? Well, yes. Sort of. But what did the average man do? Fear not. If you required a good old leeching session, required some bloodletting or a bit of minor surgery, there was a place that you could go. And that place was your local barber shop. That's right, Bob the barber would cut your hair, tidy up that beard, and then attach a bunch of leeches to your body so they could gorge on your blood. Minimal training required. But just how effective was leeching and bloodletting? Well, this depends entirely on the goal. If the aim was to weaken a person and their immune system due to severe blood loss, or to cause further infection through the use of unhealthy leeches, then these treatments were fantastically effective. If, on the other hand, the goal was to cure illness and disease, but for matters of the gums, teeth and breath, there were several approaches. Herbs and spices were chewed, vinegar rinses were gargled, and toothpicks were used. But all of this was overshadowed by some of the treatments administered for toothache. And nothing screams pain relief like fried mouse paste. That's right, take a mouse, kill it, fry it up, pestle and mortar it into a fine paste, and rub it on the affected tooth.
What?
The end result would be exactly as expected. The toothache would remain, and the chances of further, more severe infection were increased. I can only imagine how that tasted. Jesus. Now, while the foolish medieval English were still crushing up mice, other parts of medieval Europe, such as Germany, had moved beyond mouse paste. They had something far more effective at treating toothache. The treatment went like this. Take some gunpowder, put it into the cavity of the aching tooth, and blow it up. Well, think about it. I mean, what could be more effective, right? No tooth, no pain. Flawless logic. The outcome, however, time. Go figure. Take the skunk. The mouse paste probably tasted delicious. And there we have it. 3 bizarre cures.
I wanted video evidence, man, you know? Oh my gosh. Just to get some stuff.
All right. What's up on my product? I really don't know. In the phone chat. A bummer. It's always a shame when there's a gold that's not like a progressive scanner. On stream, so which is crazy to think about. It's less than that. This barrel, but I think they changed this. You're killing me, Zodiac. You're killing me. I'm okay with this crossbow skin. It's kind of cool, the purple one. Bro. You could get some. We got the gold again. So this is like our 4th gold, but we've got nothing so far of any value. And there's 1 schematic, which at least has. So on console and them on 1 platform. Gold, okay. I've always seen these videos of people who get like 2, 3, 4 golds that like it almost never happens to me. I've never had more than 2, and getting 2 is very rare. Oh my god, fucking me, dude. And we haven't had 1 progressive skin yet. Another battle stat. Oh my god. I mean, at least these are cool, but come on. Holy crap. I missed that one. It's funny. All right, let's go back to the SMG. So we're at 82,000 now. I'm definitely going to keep my G coin on console until there's a new event. Let's say like a new, like another vehicle drop like that. Because I actually have some of my favorite progressives on console already. I have the Pumpkin M4. I have the Holiday AK.
Man,
I have the Christmas Mini 14. The only thing I need on console is like a leveled up sniper, and I am leveling up that M249 that has that cool kill effect. All right, let's see. This is, come on, give me that progressive MP5. Dude, the Zodiac Killer is absolutely killing me. All right, should we switch it up a little bit? Let's open this. So colored smoke guns, because before all of the smoke grenades were just the regular smokes. Colored smoke guns, because before all of the smoke grenades were just the regular smokes that you throw, not the shootable ones. Man, these battle stats, yeah, they're really getting me here. So what do they call these things? Is this the M79? Yeah.
This guy, dude.
What's cool about this, because there's no progressive in this crate, there's a chance to get the 5 schematics straight up and the 3 schematics. There's no chroma, but literally all I'm getting is battle stats, and we are 30,000 in on this, which if you're tracking is roughly, you know, $300. So it's just insane if you were to spend that much money doing that, which is why I'm doing it here for you guys.
It would already be $300 that he spent.
I mean, I'm getting a lot of scrap, which you can use the scrap when you spend money straight up. You get scrap. You get 100 scrap every time you buy this. For it's $20, but on sale for $18. Come on, you gotta give me a progressive here. Let's go. Finally, dude. It only took 30,000 G coin. Holy crap! All right, we'll take a look at that after when we're done. We'll take a look at it. What we would like though is the chroma, right? The chroma is pretty cool. That neon green. So we're gonna stick with it. And if we get another one, we could just scrap it, right? That's the benefit. Oh, wow. What are the odds? We literally got it back to back. That's insane. So we could scrap that for 3 schematics. And, but it's a bummer it wasn't the chroma there. But really, like I said, I'm going to earn so much scrap here that watch I get it 3 times in a row. I'll trip out. That would just be insane. I kind of want that chroma, man. The neon green chroma is so cool. You know, at least we've been getting golds though. I'll say that. I feel like when you buy for $20, you should get a gold every time. That's really where they lose me. So you need 6,500 scrap to buy the chroma straight up. Okay.
Dude, that'd be rip off.
I see.
Ever use
right, I'm going to buy some smoke grenade ones because I would like one of these, and there's the chance for me to get the 5 schematics when I do this. It's kind of double benefit. The lava lamp JS9 is interesting skin. What do you guys think about that? Just one schematic.
The only skin there is for it. Kind of sucks though because it's so
I'm sure
bright.
there's probably some people potentially watching this video that haven't even really played PUBG. What the fuck? Dude, I was just saying I've never seen this before. I don't think I've ever gotten this many golds. Yeah, so I was just saying that I've watched other people hit like a 4 gold box opening. I've never had more than 2. So this is record breaking. Did we just hit open all? I guess so. Let's do it. Bruh. 3 battle stats. Oh,
3 schematics though. That's a good one.
Schematic. That is just crazy. Wow. Sheesh. I feel like I gotta mark this down. All right, let's keep going, chat. That was killer. That was totally killer. So let's talk about like what other progressive guns we'd like to see. Well, first, I'll say that I think PUBG has been kind of... This Grows has always been one of my favorites. I use that a lot. It's tough because they went on like all these extreme progressives that were very elaborate, and then now these progressives are a little bit more basic. Not to say that they're not cool. They are very cool, but they were kind of going hard with the progressives and the kill feed effects and all that stuff, and then these are a little bit less elaborate. So I feel like, I don't know if people are buying less of this stuff, the incentive is down, but having the first SMG is cool. I'm really shocked that PUBG hasn't done a progressive N249. I see that they did that battle stat one. I feel like the just one schematic again. I feel like the RNGs in PUBG have been
dude, each one of these rolls is $20.
Like we could probably use some more RNGs in the game. I mean, they're pretty strong in PUBG. I don't say they're broken, but another just one schematic. But we're racking them up. I'd rather have the one schematic than a battle stat. And you know, because of the gun is so large, physically large, I feel like you could do such a cool schematic. I mean, progressive with it. Because you have so much surface area for the design, right? And that would just be pretty sweet. And even the VSS. VSS is such a unique weapon, but people who like it, you know, love to use it. If they came out with a progressive, I feel like people would enjoy that. I think people like unique stuff, and PUBG probably looks at the data and like, oh, the VSS isn't used as much. But I think if you came out with a progressive, it would also make people want to use it too, right? And I also think it would be cool if PUBG at some point created a progressive that the more kills you had with the gun, it also added some unique benefits as well, right? So like, I get they want to make money off of it, so keep all the regular things, but then maybe just add like some very minor tweaks, right? Or like color changes if you get a certain amount of kills. That would also give people an incentive to use the gun. All right, so another progressive. We got 3 progressives, but they're all the same today. Oh, so
4 of the same progressive.
All right, we'll start opening this one, see if we can get the M4.
Damn.
I don't think we're gonna get that schematic. Here we go, another double gold. Give me that M4, baby. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so we gotta check these out after, because I really don't know. No signal, is that okay? I don't know what they look like at their top tier, so we'll have to take a look. So we just got that. Now we'll go for the sniper. Add it to our, hopefully try to add it to our inventory. Just as a check here, we are 60,000 G coin in. This is incredible.
This is 100,000 G coin.
So much
$1,000.
So basically what happened is I took a break from PUBG. And because of that, my account... Whoa! Now we're racking up the progressives. Okay, let's go. Let's go. We did it. We got it. And because my account was kind of just sitting, and I wasn't actively spending money on things that I wanted, and also I didn't really love the progressives at the time, I ended up saving up 100,000 G coin, which is just crazy. So we got the sniper, we got the submachine gun, now we're trying to get the barrel here, which I had this barrel on console at one point, and then I got rid of it because I decided that I wasn't going to spend money upgrading it. And really, if you have progressive weapons out there, just because it's so expensive, you really got to pick like your favorite weapon. And, you know, save, and then pick your favorite weapon and then try to level that one up. That's really the only way to do it because it's so difficult to level it up all the way. And the barrels, I've never been a big barrel user. And I mean, this one is kind of cool. I actually like, I think the default better than the chroma with the gold on it. But it's just not my favorite, but I do dig it. Like the concept I like. If it was an AK, I'd probably be more interested. For some reason, I've always been a bigger AK fan than the barrel. Even though the barrel packs such a big punch. All right, so we spent almost 75,000 or just about 75,000. That is kind of insane. I think this is one of the biggest openings I've ever done in PUBG. Wow, here we go. We got it, chat. So, Darkest Depths, check. Midnight Menace, check. Progressive 0G, check. No signal, check. Now we just need the smoke cannon. And we'll be in it to win it. Imagine we get this right now. Give it to me, baby. Ooh, I'll take 5 schematics, though. I'll take 5 schematics all day. All right, there's no on this one. Open another. Now we're rapid firing here. Down to 19,000 G coin, just like that. Wow. Sheesh. So we actually had, I mean, a lot of luck there. There was a lot of gold incoming. We had multiple 2s. We had that 4, which was the first time I've ever seen something like that. And then this is probably the longest streak of no gold that I've had today. So honestly, the gold ratio has been high. It's just what's been in the gold has not been that great. Fractured mini. No way I'm going to be using that over another mini skin. Oof. All right, you know what? Let's see. Let's open like 2 more. We got gold, baby. Let's Let's rip it. Ooh, fractured, aka. All right, let's do one more here. Come on. End on a gold. Ah ha ha. Just like gambling, sometimes you feel like you should have ended earlier. But okay, so we're going to leave just a little bit of G-Coin in the account in case we need it for something. But basically there we almost spent $1,000 of G-Coin. I think we got a lot to use there. So let's take a look at our bounty, what we acquired. So let's go to weapons. So we acquired, well, first of all, it's crazy. We have the barrel. I already had this barrel, the Azure Dragon. The AUG, which I started leveling up and I kind of regretted it. We have the DBS on this account. We have the Wukong N24, the pan. Hold on, we got more than this. I kind of screwed this up. So the barrel, this barrel, the AUG, the DBS, the Bunny Patrol MK, sniper, the pan, and then we got all those MP5s, and then this sniper, and then that's it. Holy crap. Okay, so let's take a look at the different options on this gun. I did take a look at this not so long ago. This is the kill feed skin. Not bad. The box is interesting. Definitely just not my personal favorite. I would say, like, I feel like the scope skin on a sniper is a big part of it. Maybe like a kill effect or something. Now you're throwing me off. Be well. Much love. Peace out.
Like I said, so y'all, cats have had breakfast and full for now. Go ahead on and shut her down. Thanks for hanging, everybody. On Kitty Cam. A little bit of to go home with. It's a T. Mark Hopper. Northwest Media. Mark Bass. See y'all on the next one. Hey, you too. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Another one.